Fanatic.com.
It is a football Friday, which means we can actually talk football. Yesterday was a nice day to put everything behind us, and today we get to start looking ahead. Eagles-Steelers. Now, the question is, do they respond to what took place this week in a game against a very good defense? It is Kincade and Salciunas on a football Friday, 97.5 The Fanatic.
This is Kincade and Salciunas.
Was this a down game against a bad team, or did we see what could be flaws for the Eagles, specifically in the passing game?
The reason you're in one-score games in the fourth quarter with three of the worst teams in football is because of the fact that your offense can't get rolling early in a game.
Kincade and Salciunas. John Kincade, Andrew Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
And a good Friday morning, Philadelphia. I'm Andrew Salciunas alongside my man John Kincade. Johnny, happy football payday, Fanatic Friday.
I got to tell you, when the Eagles are good and they're on a roll, the weeks fly.
Yes.
Like this was another fast week.
Yeah, and obviously there was a little bit more added drama to this week.
Yeah,
but
it certainly was.
It's the 11-2 Eagles that still had some drama attached to it, because that's the NFL. It's not just the Eagles, that's just the NFL. But of course we're accustomed to it with the Eagles, and we talk about it on a daily basis. And I know people get bothered by it, but it's funny. You and I talked about this the other day. For the people that hate the drama so much, a lot more listeners when there's a lot of drama going on.
Well, there's drama.
And so you all right, do you actually hate the drama? Because we can just tell by our interaction on social media, phones, text messages.
I think
people are all about the drama.
Here's the thing, though, is I think people are more likely to get involved in the commenting on it, discussing on it.
Correct.
When things are bad. But people want it to be good.
No, of course.
People want it to be really
when the
good.
Eagles are winning, everything goes up.
Everything's better.
Everything, yeah.
Like Fridays, like right now, we're looking at a huge matchup on Sunday.
Absolutely.
And it makes coming into work even easier.
So that huge
much
matchup that you mentioned is the Eagles-Steelers 425 game, the Battle of Pennsylvania.
I never think of this either. They make it out to be like
I know.
Like it's a rivalry.
It's not.
There's never been a rivalry between the Steelers and the Eagles.
No, but I went to the game back in 2004, and some nasty woman yelled at me for the entire first quarter, and then felt bad because the Eagles were getting blown out, so she bought me a soda.
How old were you?
2004, so I would have been 10 years old. Yeah, so
and wait a minute.
A Pittsburgh native was yelling at a little kid.
My dad let this happen. My adopted dad.
Yes.
Let that happen?
Oh.
I would have turned around and said, shut your mouth. He's 10. For God's sakes, why are you so obnoxious?
She bought me a soda. She felt so bad for her actions.
She would have needed a box of tissues when I got done yelling at her.
And the long drive that we took just to watch the Eagles get spanked. But anyways,
that was bad.
All right, so obviously this week has been more about drama than actual football. So let's try to turn this into the football conversation. So after the game against the Panthers, you guys already know the story, but let's just revisit. A.J. Brown was asked, what's the thing that they can work on? And he said, the passing game, right? And he was very blunt with his answers. And then when he spoke in the middle of this week, beautifully, by the way, so did Jalen, so did Nick, A.J. Brown said he did it on purpose. He spoke out publicly on purpose so that it could be out there, so that the team can say, all right, I'm putting a test to this team. He went on the whole Joker thing. Like, if I have to be the bad guy, I'll be the bad guy. I don't care. So he made a point to do that publicly. It was on purpose. And I said we had a topic yesterday about whether or not we're happy all of this happened, because maybe there's some good that comes of this. But the one thing I still hesitate, John, as you know, is that what if it doesn't all of a sudden look better? Was that public outcry really just for the team, I'm trying to do this for the betterment of the team? Or was he upset that he wasn't getting enough targets, not getting enough yards, not getting enough stats or whatever? And if there's another bad passing game this weekend against Pittsburgh or the following weekend against Washington, are we going to continue to go down some potential bad spiral? And it has now been reported by multiple people that there is tension in the locker room. Brandon Graham clearly said something he wasn't supposed to say.
He spoke out of turn, but it doesn't mean he was lying.
Right, doesn't mean that he was lying.
I mean, he wasn't lying. BG would not go and do that. That doesn't make any sense.
Right. So Our question to start the show today, it's 610-632-0975. And we have two questions within this first segment, but I want to start with this one. Again, we're turning everything that took place this week. I know people are probably tired of hearing about the drama. We're now going to turn it into a football conversation.
Okay.
Do you want to see the Eagles change the game plan to appease the concerns of the passing offense? I'm not even saying appease A.J. Brown. I'm saying A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, everybody that does agree with A.J. Brown that the passing offense needs to improve or look better. Now, for that to happen, you're going to probably have to attempt throwing the ball more than 19 times. It's going to have to be 25 to 30. And, of course, eyeballs will have to be on A.J. Brown to keep him happy. But then when does Devontae Smith feel a certain type of way where you're trying to keep him happy as well? And nobody thinks Devontae Smith is a problem, but maybe he does say things more so behind closed doors instead of in front of a camera like A.J. Brown did on Sunday. Or do you want them to stick with what has worked, which has led to a 9-game winning streak, which has been the run-first offense, run-heavy offense? Saquon Barkley's getting his 25 to 30 touches. Jalen Hurts is running the ball 5 to 10 times. Kenneth Gainwell is coming in to give Saquon Barkley a breather, getting 5 to 10 carries a game. That's what's been a part of the formula that has led to a 9-game winning streak that has put them in first place of the NFC East, second place in the NFC, and one of the best records in football.
Uh-huh.
So do you want them to appease the passing offense by changing a game plan, changing a style of attack for this Sunday, or do you want them to stick with what works? You know how I feel. I want them to keep doing what's been working.
Sounds very clear. I hate your premise.
Thank you.
And I contest your premise.
All right. Contest me.
I absolutely, yes. Can I say yes? How do I say yes to say it so it's like I'm screaming it?
Bleep yes?
Yes.
Curse. Do it.
I
No.
don't, but your premise is false.
Okay.
I do not want them to do it to appease anyone. I want them to do it so they can win a Super Bowl.
Okay.
That's why I want them to do it. Because unlike you, I truly believe that the passing attack is inadequate. So to me, I say absolutely, I want them to change the offense up a little. I'm not talking about an overhaul. I want to tweak. But I want to, I said by the end of my career, I want to broadcast from a parade. I've done freaking everything in my life. I've never broadcast from a parade.
Oh, wow.
I want to broadcast from a parade. And it's not going to get there with the game plan that has gotten you to 9-0.
See, now I believe that it does. Now that's
I got you. That's where we have it. That's where we have the disconnect.
Connor,
right.
You and Connor are more so on the same page when it comes to throwing the football in order to win the Super Bowl.
And I don't think there has to be, by the way, though, I don't think, where I disconnect with the premise. I don't believe it's to appease anybody. I believe it's to win a damn Super Bowl. It's to come with an offensive attack that actually shows a little bit of more balance, that shows a little bit more of a threat. And to me, that's what I want. So I very simply answer you, Andrew, on this Friday morning, YES. Yes.
Connor, do you want to see the Eagles change the game plan? I'm saying to appease the passing offense because none of this happens if people are happy, but clearly people weren't necessarily happy after the game against the Panthers. Or do you want them to stick with what has worked? Now, John's going to go.
When you say people, what do you mean people? You mean A.J. Brown?
A.J. Brown, and I'm going to just a guess, that he's talking for other teammates.
I think he is too.
Just a guess.
There were 2 long discussions on the sideline that were caught on camera between him and Devontae Smith where they both look unhappy.
Right. So I would imagine he's speaking for more than one person, and that one person being himself. Connor, where do you fall? Good morning. Welcome back.
Good morning.
Where do you fall on this initial question to start the show? Do you want to see the Eagles change the game plan to appease the concerns of the passing offense, or do you want them to stick with what has worked?
My answer is not that simple. So, yes, in the long run. I just worry that this is not the week for it. Not that, like, this is a must-win game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, they're pretty much locked into seeding. So, yeah, you could do it. But the guy I think about is TJ Watt. And I worry about them trying to do something this week that they don't typically do. And you've got your offensive line on their heels against TJ Watt. You have him getting to Jalen Hurts. Like, against the Steelers, I'd rather you stick with what's been working. And then when you get into these games down the stretch against Washington, against Dallas, against the Giants, if you have to play it out, that's when I want to see them force the passing game a little bit. Like, this is a game where it feels like there could be more damage done than help. But I do want to see, before the regular season is over, them appease the passing game.
Here's where the only thing I'd go at you with a little bit, Connor, on that is this. What are you going to really learn when, in your last 3 games, only one of those teams even has a sniff of the playoffs?
Right. It's not so much.
I'm worried about winning January games, boys. This is your last test for January.
Here's what you can learn. And, I don't want to steal kind of the points that one of our first callers already on hold wants to talk about. Does Jalen Hurts still hesitate? Like, that's something that you can, like, the Panthers stink, right? So, like,
they stink.
It's not like they played a very good defense last week, but what did we learn? Jalen Hurts may be a little gun shy because he didn't want to turn the football over, because that has been such an emphasis of what took place the first 4 weeks of the season versus everything that's transpired since they started this winning streak. Only 1 interception thrown, only 2 turnover-worthy throws throughout this entire winning streak. He hesitated against a bad team.
Oh, he did.
If you hesitate against a good team like a Steelers defense and TJ Watt is coming off the edge, your head might come off its shoulders, right? Like, you can't hesitate against better pass rushers, and against these playoff teams where points will be at a premium, you can't give up touchdowns. You basically gave up a touchdown on that opening drive. You straight up gave up a touchdown on that opening drive by not throwing it to A.J. Brown. You were able to beat the Panthers because the Panthers are a bad football team. You won't be able to. This goes back to our conversations about the first quarters. If the Lions are up 10-0 in the first quarter, I don't necessarily feel great about the Eagles coming back and winning.
Are you making our case for us?
No, it has to be more efficient.
Okay, so you're going to say that it's all because of the volume can stay the same.
Yeah, it just needs to be efficient. Yeah,
the Hurts just has to be great.
Last week was his worst game since the bye week. It was his worst game.
We're not going to argue that with you.
And Jalen Hurts threw as many pass attempts as he's done during this entire winning streak. He finished with 21. So it's been about the average. I'll look up what the average of pass attempts have been. But it's when there's a guy wide open and you don't pull the trigger, and then you do a check down to Jahan Dotson for 5 yards. That's where I have a problem.
Okay, nobody's going to argue with you on that one. Like, no one's going to give you any grief on that one. But what I'm going to say to you is this: is that the whole thing is, I think your idea is that it's appeasement, that it wouldn't be a good thing to do because, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Do you believe it's, if they do this week, that they truly would just be trying to appease A.J. Brown?
Or the entire passing offense. A.J.
Like
Brown, Devontae Smith.
Okay, because here's what I'm going to say to you. Nobody cared. In fact, we applauded it. When the offensive linemen did exactly what A.J. Brown did, they just did it behind closed doors.
Yeah, but I wanted what they did.
That's the thing. You can't pick and choose.
Well, no,
you can't,
I can.
but
I'm not on the team.
But the thing is, though, it's the way you sort of frame it. The offensive linemen went in and were like, we like to run block. That's what we're good at. That's what gets us to Pro Bowls. And that's their selfish intent.
I don't think that's what the reasoning was.
You're out of your mind if you think everybody doesn't want to do what makes them the best.
No, they did what they think is best for the team. I don't think they did that for their own personal gain.
What makes players want to do what they're good at. A.J. Brown wants to do what he's good at.
Yeah, catching the football.
And the offensive linemen want to do what they're best at. They're the best run-blocking offensive line, and this franchise has had the best run-blocking offensive line for quite a while now. Long time. It's over a decade.
Right, yeah.
So these guys want to do, inherently, want to do. When I say selfishly, it means selfishly sort of, it's not tongue-in-cheek, but it's the idea that people want to do what they're good at, what they think that they're best at, where they maximize their talents. So A.J. Brown is just doing the same thing. He just did it publicly. And for the Eagles to win a Super Bowl, A.J. Brown has to be given an opportunity to do as much that he's good at as these offensive line are. And to have all the snaps in a game, and for A.J. Brown to have 4 opportunities, again, is freaking malpractice.
Yes, and I agree with you.
It's absolutely.
I agree with you.
And it's not the first time. And it's not even the second time. We've had 4 targets, 6 targets. It's ridiculous, and it's got to change.
Well, again, it's 6 targets on 20 passes.
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't. You have to get it. A.J. Brown, get him the ball. Puka Nacua against the Eagles.
Yeah.
I think he had 17 targets.
They just kept giving him the ball.
What the hell? And you know what he was doing? He was toasting the Eagles for a lot of, he was catching. That's what you got to do, dude.
So,
you got to give A.J. Brown his due.
So I'll ask you this.
Yes.
Jalen Hurts has not thrown 30 pass attempts since the Tampa Bay game.
Right.
In the first 4 weeks of the season, 34, 30, 38, 30.
What's he been averaging? 22?
Since then, or all season?
So in the 9-game winning streak, I believe he's averaging 21 or 22.
So that's, 8 to 9 less.
Then
even though the one game was 38.
I'm gonna meet you right here. 6 more opportunities a game.
So 28 times?
Yeah.
That has happened once since the bye week. It was the Commanders game. Remember, they were losing
And they had
early
to. They were
on,
losing.
and
They were losing in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
No. 27. How about this? Take it from 22 to 27, and I got no issues.
I can maybe meet you in the middle there.
See that?
I can maybe
Look
meet
at that.
you in the middle.
I don't want. Guess what though? I don't want 32.
Well, exactly. I don't want 30.
But I want because I don't want to take away what they've been doing great also.
Yeah.
Right, but we're asking you to have a little bit of foresight, right? It's not what's working now. It's would you rather protect yourself against the potential pitfalls of the run that's coming? That's all we're saying. We're not saying become a pass-first team. We're not saying give up on the run. We're not saying if you get in a playoff game, go away from Saquon Barkley. But if you're forced to, because this whole idea that a team out there in the NFL has no way of stopping the Eagles' rushing attack is pompous. And it may be true, but it's not the best way to go about attacking the season.
But
And you don't believe it. By the way, I don't believe it. I absolutely believe that there could be a team in the postseason that could shut down the Eagles' rushing attack.
Could be.
Or at least, how about this? Contain the Eagles' rushing
But I'll
attack.
say this, and it's what I've been saying for weeks now. I would rather, we've done these. How many shows have we done? Hey, is this the week where they're going to drop Jalen back?
I think we've done 195 today.
Because the Ravens' defense is one of the top rushing defenses in the NFL. My response is, well, I don't care. I'm one of the top rushing offenses in the league. So let's go.
No, I like
fire
like
with
it.
fire. What happened? The Eagles ran the ball very well against the Baltimore Ravens.
It's not game plan. I'm not saying game plan for a team to throw the ball. But let's say you get to halftime, or God forbid, knock on wood, Saquon Barkley gets hurt.
Well, then
Well, guess what,
see it
Andrew?
over, my man.
Then your whole plan of the
No, it's not because you have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and a great offensive line. There is no, put all our eggs into one basket because you do not have to. You have 2 baskets and one basket is empty and you look dumb for it.
And you're spending
that basket has at least 2 eggs in it.
You're
Okay,
dumping,
I want more eggs.
but
the other 10 are in Saquon's basket.
You're dumping too many. I do believe that they've dumped too much eggs in Saquon's basket. But it
We've
has
been
worked.
celebrating this basket all season
we
long.
celebrate-
It's a great basket.
It's a great basket.
There are no holes
we
in
love
this
the. It sounds like a Seinfeld routine. We love the basket. The basket's great. But no, it's got to be. They got to, Andrew. They got to be better at it. They got to do. They got to do other things. They got to do other things, and they got to do other things well. And it is something where I absolutely. I don't like your premise, and I don't like your tone.
That's fine.
I'm telling you right now,
My
I don't
wife
think
never
your tone.
likes my tone.
I don't like. Well, you know what's funny is we picked that up from each other then, because my tone constantly getting cold.
Do you want to see the Eagles change the game plan to appease the concerns of the passing offense? And concerns are not just what's happening in the regular season, but to what John and Connor are talking about come playoff time. If you're going to need to throw the football in order to win.
Oh, wait. If you're going to need to throw the football to win?
Well, I believe you can stick with what's worked. And I think
You believe that they're not going to have to throw the football to win in the postseason?
25 times. I'm not saying throw the ball 6 times.
What beats the Browns? What beats the Jags? What beats the Giants? What beats the Cowboys?
What beats the Ravens?
Listen,
what beats the Rams? What beats the Bengals?
Don't give the Bengals. They're freaking 5-win Bengals. Could we stop with the Bengals? The Bengals aren't. Let's talk
They're
about
one of the best
the
offenses in the
Ravens.
NFL.
The Ravens are the only team in the 9-game streak that are a playoff team. The Rams might end up being one.
It could be.
Let's be honest.
On Commanders.
You're going to have to do
Commanders.
No, they might, and they might be. Again, they might be.
Well, I was your Washington Commanders that you're all worried about, John.
Washington's in. Rams might be. That if the Rams are in, Washington's out.
No, Rams could win the division. Both could be in.
Yeah, they could both be in. You are correct.
could
on that.
still be
They
in.
could make it.
So-
You're not talking about, this has not been a murderer's row. And so, yes, you can beat teams that will be sitting home watching the Eagles in the postseason, doing what you've been doing the last few months. You got to change things up a little
Keep
bit.
on going. Barkley. All right, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, baby. Do you want to see the Eagles change the game plan to appease the concerns of the passing offense or stick with what has worked? We will hear from you today at 610-632-0975 on the text line and our phone line as well. Coming up next, so speaking of the passing offense, we're going to go through power rankings, John, early.
We love power rankings.
But this is about quarterbacks, and it's from the website that we say has the least biased of them all.
Yep.
Curious to see how you feel about this one. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
A great injury report for the Birds. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by Bet Parks. Join Seth Joyner and D. Gunn for the Bet Parks pre- and post-game shows live at Parks Casino for every Birds game. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. The Eagles are remarkably healthy as they prepare for their matchup with the Pittsburgh Steelers Sunday at 4:25 p.m. in Lincoln Financial Field. As of yesterday's injury report, all 53 active players are without an injury designation. This late in the season, that's a minor miracle. Yesterday, Brooke Pryor of ESPN joined our own Andrew DeCecco and talked about the impact that Russell Wilson has made in Pittsburgh.
He is very much doing what Arthur Smith is asking him to do, not pressing. He's not taking too many sacks. By and large, I mean, I think that he's just doing exactly what they're asking, and it's working out.
So Mr. Unlimited's having himself a solid season, but he's running into a team that's on a 9-game win streak in our Birds. So we'll see if they can deal with not only Russell Wilson, but the vaunted Steelers defense on Sunday. Like we said earlier, they're healthy enough. They should be able to do it. The Flyers took down the Red Wings 4-1 last night, or rather, Scott Lawton took down the Red Wings 4-1. Lawton had all 4 goals for the Flyers in the victory. They'll be back on the ice tomorrow at 2 p.m. The Sixers are back from their long break tonight at 7 p.m. against the Pacers at the Wells Fargo Center. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. We'll talk to Andrew DeCecco for the entire 8 a.m. hour. Kevin Negandhi of ESPN will join us at 9. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Ricky Batalico.
I think Kellen Moore.
on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic on this football Friday. Let's make it a great weekend. Eagles Steelers 425.
I'm hoping that the rain holds off Sunday for everybody that's tailgating and everything, because it looks like the rain's going to come in. Rain's going to come in later. But I think that was the word last night from one Adam Joseph, that it was going to rain later on Sunday.
Speaking of rain, we'll talk
birds.
in about an hour. We're going to talk about the downfall of the San Francisco 49ers, because I'm loving every second of it. My God, was that horrible last night.
Nasty.
It was a monsoon. That game sucked. But you know what didn't suck?
And I saw people going, Thursday night football just sucks.
Well, yeah, it's not their fault that it rained.
What the hell are you talking about?
Dude, we got like a Bengals-Ravens shootout earlier this year on Thursday night.
That doesn't suck.
The Eagles Commanders game was great.
That was great. You know what
on.
didn't suck? Scott Lawton didn't suck.
No, he didn't suck. That was awesome.
4 goals, man.
That was awesome.
Unbelievable night for Lots.
That's a wild night.
That was a good win for the
that's
Flyers.
That's a really,
yesterday.
really that's very, very exciting for them, and they're now. Not that it's the biggest deal. It's 2 games over 500 now.
Well, look, still, it's
which is really nice.
Year 2 of a rebuild,
and
not year 2 of trying to get to the playoffs.
And they are they're sitting pretty. They're sitting pretty good. I mean,
they may never lose again. People are talking.
That John Tortorella, man.
And Tortorella is ruining.
He's ruining this
team.
It's
and
unbelievable.
Mishkov, he's ruining.
They'd be undefeated if it wasn't for Torts.
Yeah,
Here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying too, though, is honestly, and it's not. I know he's dealt with a lot of adversity, but I got to see more out of Nick Nurse.
Yeah,
because John Tortorella is making chicken salad sometimes out of chicken.
Yeah,
and he's done it for years.
I agree with you, man.
I got to see more out of Nick Nurse.
Look, I brought up the question.
Because, I think Nick Nurse is a hell of a coach.
I brought it up earlier this
it.
year. What happens if you didn't have the best player on the planet for one playoff run?
Well, the best player on the planet stepped away from the sport yesterday.
Yeah?
Yeah, LeBron James. Stepping away from the Lakers.
Well, listen, man. That has nothing to do with Kawhi Leonard.
I hope he's healthy. That's all I worry. That's all I worry about. A guy.
Now,
I always think health.
Now back to the Sixers real quick. I hope next Thursday we have a conversation comparing them to the Eagles and saying this 5-day layoff and getting everybody back and getting to talk to everybody like a mini bye week.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday.
Oh, did you? Okay, cool.
I like that.
Jake Fisher was reporting that a lot of teams had the same mindset of, this in-season tournament means absolutely nothing.
Give me the rest.
No, it's the dumbest thing. Let's face it, it's the dumbest thing in the world that they're doing this. But whatever. All right, so I wanted to go through this with you guys. So we're talking about the passing game today and whether or not you want to see the Eagles change the game plan from what has been working.
Right.
I say to appease the passing offense, but it's not just like
I think that's where you skew
make AJ happy.
The thing is, though, I think that's where you skew the discussion.
Well, because
you're making it out to be, oh, AJ's being a whiner, let's appease him.
I voiced my concern yesterday.
I'm not just asking it without that part of the question.
Well, no, it's just like the Trey Turner standing ovation. What if it doesn't work? Then all of a sudden, what, are we going to boo louder? If A.J. Brown is voicing his displeasure after a Panthers game and against the Steelers, a good defense, they don't throw the football well, then what's the talking point?
Thing is, you're more likely to throw the ball against the Steelers. The Steelers are a team that's more vulnerable for you to throw the ball against them.
There have been numerous games where the teams that they have faced have been more vulnerable against the pass.
Well, then this is the perfect – it's the perfect time to show what you are as a team.
So NFL.com, we pick their power rankings when we do the power rankings segment because
Absolutely.
there's no bias. They're not moving the Cowboys up higher just to move the Cowboys up higher. They just do who they believe is the best team in the NFL. So I have not seen this all season long. They do a quarterback one. We read one on Fox before, but this is the NFL.com quarterback power index. All right.
Okay.
They're So Josh Allen is at number 1. Anyone have a problem with that?
No.
Nah. The guy might win MVP.
Well, the last 2 weeks he's been the numbers that he put together. I was watching a little video of it yesterday. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's ridiculous
what he's managed
been able to do. Joe Burrow is at number 2.
No problem.
No problem. I mean, if his defense has a clue, they're in the playoffs. They have no clue, and that's why they're not going to make the playoffs this year. Lamar's at 3. Goff is at 4.
Okay.
This one I still find kind of interesting. Mahomes is at 5. He has played not well this year.
But they're going to tell you that still efficiently.
Yeah, they're winning games.
Right.
Stafford is at 6. Jordan Love is at 7. Sam Darnold is at 8. Now, this happened before last night. Brock Purdy is at 9. I imagine that goes
Have
down.
they not
a little
updated?
bit.
They haven't. Yeah, because it was.
This
they
is
didn't
going
update last
going
night.
into week
Okay.
15.
All right.
Russell Wilson is at 10. Geno Smith is at 11.
Oh my gosh.
Justin Herbert is at 12. Jaden Daniels is at 13. By the way, these guys have dropped spots.
Okay.
Tua Tagovailoa remains at 14. Baker dropped to 15. Kyler dropped to 16. Notice I haven't gotten to Jalen yet, if you guys are following along.
That's what I was figuring the punchline is on this.
Bryce Young is at 17.
Now, come on.
Which
Wow.
is ridiculous, especially because he is one spot ahead of Jalen Hurts. So Jalen Hurts is at 18. I take exception to the Bryce Young thing. But Jalen Hurts, according to the team at NFL.com, they have him ranked at 18 through 15 weeks. 18?
That's absurd. That's just that's actually dumb.
So here's what they wrote about him. If you'd only
And is
listen-
this one person putting their name to writing this, or is this
this is
one
the
of
guy
their
that writes
teams?
it, but I think it's a team that ranks the quarterbacks.
Okay.
If you'd only listened to the post-game comments following the Eagles' win over the Panthers, you'd have thought Hurts couldn't connect with any of his teammates. Wrong. Hurts wasn't a prolific passer, but he did make a handful of excellent throws, including both of his touchdown passes. As a unit, Philadelphia's offense encountered some roadblocks, especially on design Hurts runs, but his creation was a big reason why the Eagles won the game. Hurts' 15-yard scramble up the middle of the field pushed the Eagles into the red zone, setting up his eventual rocket of a touchdown pass to Devontae Smith. Hurts made an even bigger play later on in the game, taking off for a 35-yard scramble to position the offense inside Carolina's 10. He talks about how they're not a high-value passing offense, but Hurts is still leading the Eagles to victory without committing major mistakes. All that was nice, but they have him ranked 18th among all quarterbacks in the NFL.
Okay, that's really just dumb. You would not take if there was a general manager's draft, and if we could just keep that list up.
Yeah, I'll have it up all show.
If there was a general manager's draft, and they said you have a good football team that has a chance to be great. It's not some loaded football team. You're bringing in a guy.
Yeah.
Now, no one is going to take an issue if someone said, I'll take Mahomes, I'll take Burrow, I'll take Allen.
Yeah. And those are your top 3.
Again, it's going to come out like our list did in the summer. Jalen Hurts is going to come out off the board somewhere around 8.
Yeah, but we did 8 to 14.
I mean,
we took him at 8, but we said we could see why somebody would say
well, no,
9
let's just do it
11.
as you rattle off names. We said Burrow, Allen, Mahomes,
Lamar.
absolutely. Based on this year, Lamar, absolutely. Go on. Who else is
So
who
right
else is-
now, it's Allen 1, Burrow 2, Lamar 3, Goff they have at 4, who's been playing well this year.
I think people would take Goff with his arm.
Mahomes at 5, Stafford at 6, Jordan Love at 7, Sam Darnold's at 8, and I go,
that's
now here's the
ridiculous.
thing. I would take
That's
Hurts. I would
absurd.
take Hurts over Sam Darnold in a heartbeat. But they're basing everything off of statistics and everything.
That's ridiculous. There's no way this offseason, Sam Darnold will be available for everyone in the NFL. And there ain't any way he's getting paid close to Jalen Hurts. So the NFL shows you what you're worth. Go on.
After it was Sam Darnold at 8, it was Brock Purdy at 9.
Brock Purdy is not being taken by more NFL teams right now than Jalen Hurts.
Russ is at 10.
Russell Wilson is not. Russell Wilson was available for everyone in the NFL to take.
Yes.
And he's a freaking white elephant that nobody wanted at the yard sale that they go over and go, hey, man, I'll pay $750 for that. I can see Connor going, I'll take the giant dog sculpture.
I thrift.
That'll look great.
I'm pro thrift.
But so what do you make of something?
That's
like
ridiculous. That's the stupidest thing you have brought to the table in weeks.
I don't think so.
What?
I don't think so.
Hey.
I think if you moved him ahead of Bryce Young,
Which he should be.
He should.
100%. You could make a case for all other 16 of those guys for playing better football at the quarterback position right now than Jalen Hurts.
Wow,
Now, I would put him ahead of Kyler Murray. I give the Cardinals a lot of credit for winning football games. I would put him ahead of Kyler Murray.
That's also another one that could be fair, yeah.
But that puts him at 16.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's not doing anything wrong, but he's just not.
He's not doing anything exceptional.
Exactly. And there are some guys having, like Sam Darnold, I'm not taking him over Jalen Hurts.
No, of course
But
not.
he's having an exceptional year for the Minnesota Vikings. Like, Brock Purdy is having a better year, I think, for the Niners than Hurts is having. When you just look at, like, numbers, and that's what I'm going on for this list, it's just numbers. Like, you have it, Johnny, putting Jalen Hurts or one of these quarterbacks on a great team, who would you want? But think about it this way.
No, I said a good team.
A good team.
So you got
either
a
way.
good team. A team that, like, you think is going to be a playoff team, but probably not a Super Bowl winner.
But think if you had no team and your first pick is the quarterback and you don't know any other player on the roster.
Well, I promise you, Darnold doesn't go off the board before Hurts.
I agree with
Purdy
you.
doesn't go off the board before Hurts.
But that's not the power index. The
yeah, but
power
that
index
is-
is how they're playing. And they have Sam Darnold far ahead of Jalen Hurts.
And I'm going to tell you, Jalen Hurts has been more productive in leading his team to wins. He's been a reason his team is winning. He's
Or
been a
is it-
reason. No.
Or is it Saquon?
No. Well, Saquon's part of it. Sure he is. But every one of those other players who's ahead of him, they have people that are a part of it too.
Right.
Like Justin Jefferson and things like that.
So our main topic today is whether or not you want to see the Eagles change the game plan on Sunday to try to work on the passing attack. But when you hear that Jalen Hurts is ranked 18th among starting quarterbacks,
It's dumb.
I want to hear how people react to it. I'm fascinated by it. When I clicked on it, just saying, oh, let me see how high they have Jalen ranked. Not let me see how low they have Jalen ranked. 18th. Are we missing something? It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli.
This was a spot in the schedule where they're playing a bad team. Now, if you know anything about you.
Tomlin on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. On a football Friday, talking about the Eagles' passing offense and whether or not you want to see them change what has worked, change the game plan to add to the passing offense. How about that? I'll change it from appease to add. Is that better for you? Does that make you feel more happy?
Yeah, I just think that appease skews the argument.
Well, because I do think they're trying to appease people, but
no, but I think it would then be that you're trying to make it that, oh wow, they're just doing this because of A.J. Brown voicing his opinion. Whereas this is what they really need to do.
So Tommy Reardon checks in on Twitter. Maybe the football gods are blessing us with rain to keep us from passing the ball.
Now, Channel 6 this morning, checking the weather center. Rain's coming in overnight. So it'll be dry.
Ah, okay.
It'll be dry. But that's good for everybody having a great Sunday.
Yes, yeah, I'd rather
have everybody. And honestly, I'd rather see a game anytime played in better conditions.
Yeah,
and also health-wise.
Health-wise,
team is fully healthy right now. I don't want to see that changing.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, let's go to the phone lines and the text lines at 610-632-0975. Also, reaction to this NFL.com quarterback power rankings. They have Jalen Hurts at 18. Behind Bryce Young is ridiculous. I believe behind Kyler Murray is ridiculous. But then the first guy, number 15, is your boy, Baker.
I'm going to tell you right now, I think that's the stupidest thing we've discussed on this show.
No, but the Hurts...
In 195 editions, this is the dumbest thing we've discussed.
I didn't write it down.
No, I understand that. But the fact that we're even discussing it, these people, that's stupid. That's so poor. They must not have editors anymore at NFL.com.
Yeah, Geno Smith being 11 is probably one of the dumbest things.
There isn't a general manager in football that's taken Geno Smith over Jalen Hurts.
Geno's top 5 in the NFL in passing yards.
Because they're constantly falling behind because they have Geno Smith.
Yeah, he's got 14 touchdowns to 12 picks.
Oh, my God.
He has
Geno Smith
7 fumbles. That's really bad.
I'm telling you this. Geno Smith, Seattle Seahawks, if you realize Eagles get the 2 seed, there is a chance that your path to the NFC title game would be beat the Commanders and beat Seattle.
I would love that.
On your home field.
Yeah.
At that point, you guys I've already been telling you have plans that day. You better know.
We've already talked about it. I think Seattle loses to whoever they play in the wild card round.
The thing is, and now the Rams might end up getting that game, which could make it different.
I don't think the Seahawks are winning a playoff game. All right, let's go to Joe in Tampa. What's up, Joe?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
What's up, buddy?
Moved down to Tampa a couple of months ago from the Lehigh Valley, and I still listen to your show every day.
Oh, well, thanks,
so.
and congrats on the move, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thanks. Happy to call. So the question this morning, I was getting in my car on the way to work, and I heard it, and I think the premise of the question is a little bit off, right? Because I don't necessarily think that you need to change the game plan for the passing game to be better. I hate to say it this way, but I think Hurts just has to execute it better. I mean, the last 3 weeks...
That I agree with you.
He's averaging 135 yards passing. If in the first 2 plays of the game he hits A.J. Brown on that little kind of zero route.
The touchdown play would have been...
that up the field. If Jalen Hurts the last 3 weeks averaged 200 yards or 215 yards instead of 135, then A.J. Brown's not making those comments at his locker, right? I mean, you don't have to change the game plan to get there. He's high percentage. He's got high yards per attempt. I get that, but a lot of it is him running around and hitting checkdowns or, hitting a guy on the sideline on a broken play on a comeback, and that's great, higher percentage pass, but I think his weapons are giving him his yards per attempt. I mean, he's just not hitting the top of his drop and ripping the ball. You look at the touchdown to Calcaterra, he had A.J. Brown wide open on a slant.
And you know why? It's because he's hesitant. And I think it's because of the turnover. Yeah.
It's because of the scrutiny that he got after the start.
I just don't think you have to change the offense to, quote, appease A.J. Brown. I think Hurts needs to not be hesitant and fire the ball. And I think he's worried about turnovers. After the bye week, he came out. He shut down his turnover numbers. I appreciate that. But, the result is he's not throwing to tight windows to great 50-50 ball catchers.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my piece.
Joe, listen, man, we appreciate the call. And thanks for listening down in Tampa.
Joe, hit up Burns Steakhouse if you haven't yet.
What's it called?
Go to Burns Steakhouse and thank me later.
I appreciate that. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
All right, see you, Joe. You're a big Burns guy.
It's the best.
I have one. Here's one thing. He's got to let it rip, right? And he does.
He does.
What happened against Carolina is horrible. Now there's a guy named Minka Fitzpatrick on Sunday
Yeah.
that could turn a football over.
I've heard of his name. He's really good. Yeah.
So what happens if he does just let it rip?
I'm fine with him letting it rip.
But but what if it gets intercepted?
Scared money don't make money.
Okay.
And more importantly, I saw A.J. Brown against a Steelers secondary 2 years ago have his greatest game as an Eagle. And as I would tell you right now, the Eagles and the Steelers, we talk about this Steelers defense coming in.
Yeah.
Again, and I go back to hearing the bright young Connor Thomas on the pregame show a couple weeks ago saying about before the Ravens game. And you guys were giving all the numbers about playing the Ravens and everything. And Connor goes, what are they saying on the Ravens pregame show?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they got to play the Eagles. The Eagles defense, you heard about the Steelers defense. The Eagles defense is better.
Yeah.
The Eagles defense is better balanced. The Steelers defense right now is behind the Eagles, now only by 0.3 points a game.
Well, yeah,
Not
but
much.
I'm more scared of T.J. Watt than any player on the Eagles defense.
But here's the deal. Steelers defense, 4th against the rush, 18th against the pass. Eagles defense, 2nd against the pass, 8th against the rush. Far more balanced.
Yeah.
But the turnovers is the big deal. Steelers number 1, Eagles 16th. Their defense not as opportunistic as Pittsburgh, so I worry that they're going to do we're scared. We're nibbling our fingernails.
Our man Joe the Cynic has checked in.
Hi, Joe.
Change it all for the playoffs. Throw 50 times. Let Jake Elliott kick a field goal every possession. Let Sirianni call plays. Let's get silly with it.
There we go.
All right, coming up next, we reset the show. And again, a lot of our talking point has been about the passing game. So, is that something that could hold back the Eagles come playoff time? Fox did a piece on the title contenders and their kryptonite, every team. So we're going to go through it at some point next segment because I think it's also important to know that other teams have flaws too. Like, it's not just the Eagles who have flaws. Other teams do as well. So I'll go through that with you next as well. It's Kincade and Salciunas on a Football Friday, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Everyone healthy for the Eagles. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by Ace Hardware Home Services. Got a leaky pipe? Having issues with your heat? At Ace Hardware Home Services, they're around the block with everything you need to fix it. They've got the pros to keep your home humming all year long. Ace Hardware Home Services. The Eagles have been humming all year long, and at 11-2, they're looking pretty good in the standings. They're also looking pretty good on the injury report as they prepare for their matchup with the Pittsburgh Steelers Sunday, 4:25 p.m. at Lincoln Financial Field. As of yesterday's injury report, all 53 active players on the roster are without an injury designation, which this time of year, that is a feat for sure. But you still got to go out there and take care of business on the field with the healthy players, and Pittsburgh's a tall task. Yesterday, Brooke Pryor of ESPN, who covers the Steelers, joined our own Andrew DeCecco and talked about the impact that Russell Wilson has made in Pittsburgh this year.
He is very much doing what Arthur Smith is asking him to do, not pressing. He's not taking too many sacks. By and large, I mean, I think that he's just doing exactly what they're asking, and it's working out.
Well, the Birds will have to deal with Russell Wilson and that vaunted Pittsburgh Steelers defense on Sunday. The Flyers took down the Red Wings 4-1 last night. It was all Scott Lawton. Lawton had 4 goals for the Flyers in the victory. They'll be back on the ice tomorrow at 2. The Sixers are back from their long break tonight at 7 p.m. against the Pacers. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. We'll talk to Andrew DeCecco for the entire 8 a.m. hour and Kevin Negandhi at 9. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Bill Colarulo.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic on this Football Friday. Don't forget, because it is a Football Friday, our man Andrew DeCecco will join us for the entire 8 o'clock hour. We always love our
He's probably parking like
Andrew.
2 blocks away right now in a safe spot and then walking.
I still can't believe I spotted him doing that. It was, like, egregious.
It's like psycho material.
It is psycho material.
He's
But
getting the steps in,
But look,
bro.
he's a football guy.
Yeah,
And
And
us football guys are all psychos. You know, I include myself as a
You football guys? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm the right one about sticking with the run about this Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but that's okay. So that's our conversation today, and we'll check our text line in a second. And later on this segment, there's an article on Fox. Title Contenders Kryptonite. The trouble spots for the Chiefs, Lions, Bills, Eagles, and Ravens. So interesting that they only have those 5 teams. They don't really respect any team else in the NFC. And other than the Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens, they don't really respect anybody in the AFC. And I think that's fair.
Okay.
Right? Is there any dark horse team that you think could make a run to the Super Bowl?
The Rams freak me out a little bit.
Just offense, pedigree, Stafford.
The guy that's won
Sean
before.
McVay. I got you.
Exactly.
That's fair. But are they going to win 3 road games?
I don't think so.
Like, that's the thing. Like, they could win a playoff game. I'm not saying that there's no shot they win a playoff game.
Yeah, but like you put them in Lambeau in the snow, they're going home.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know. Yeah, probably. Anyways, we'll get to that.
Why are you predicting snow there?
In Lambeau? Way
Let's
to
go
out
to
on
the Weather
ledge there.
Center, Connor.
Before we get to that, so here's what we're talking about today, our main topic. Do you want to see the Eagles change the game plan from what we have been accustomed to seeing, which has been run, 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 run? Again, the passing attempts for Jalen Hurts since the bye week. I'll start with the Cleveland game. 25, 14, 20, 24, 20, 28, 22, 19, 21. The 28 was the outlier, and that was the game against the Washington
Because
Commanders.
they were losing in the fourth quarter.
Yes. Now, of course, if you guys remember, earlier in the week, on Sunday, after the Eagles won the football game against the Panthers, A.J. Brown talked about how the passing offense needs to get going. He also did say, not just like, hey, I want more targets. Remember, the momentum question was asked. You know, how do you get into rhythm? How do you get a momentum when they're only throwing the ball 20 times? And he did say it's very difficult.
Okay.
So I asked the question, do you want the Eagles to change the game plan to appease the concerns of the passing offense?
we're not doing that.
That might be a little harsh.
No,
I understand.
It's the appease word that we're just not going to accept. It's a false premise. We're not doing it.
All right, what's the terminology that we should use? Just to
take
reset
that
the
out.
show.
Just take that out.
Do you want to see the Eagles change the game plan Sunday
So they
to
pass,
address,
So they pass the ball more. Period. And
or
by
do
the
you
way-
want them to stick with what's worked?
By the way, you see, then you're no, because then you're that no.
Well,
just
no,
say,
that's been accurate.
do you want to see them do that? Then someone can come up with their own reasoning of why.
Well, then
because
fine. The question is, do you want to see the Eagles pass more on Sunday? My answer is no. I want them to stick with what's worked. How about that?
that's fine. That could be your answer. Absolutely. Against the Steelers, I would tell you that's a dumb game plan.
Well, people would
I
say
would
the
tell
same
you-
thing against the Baltimore Ravens.
I would tell you it's a dumb game plan.
People would
against
say the same
Steelers.
thing against Baltimore.
The Steelers incredible. Again, here's the reason. No team in the NFL. It's a nice tidbit, and thanks ESPN stats and information. No team in the NFL plays more single high coverage on wide receivers than the Pittsburgh Steelers. In fact, it's not close. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are going to have plays to be made because they are going to go single. And A.J. Brown, by the way, over the past 2.5 years to this point, has one of the highest win rates in single coverage.
Yeah, the reason they can get away with that is number 90, though.
There's no questions asked. But still, that's got to be it. The slants to A.J. Brown. You remember the first touchdown, again, I think, in the Steeler game? Was a slant that he took.
Oh, they should get the ball out quick on Sunday.
They're going to, I believe you're going to see a big day in that because of that regard.
I was talking to our man Kev, who's one of the great sanitation guys around here at the station. He's amazing. I've been talking, he's been around as long as I've been here, and he was saying, "Man, I think Jalen should start doing 7-step drops this Sunday." I said, "Dude, If he does a 7-step drop against TJ Watt,
It's done.
Step 4 is when TJ will be in his face.
No, you can't do it. You can't do
that. You
7-step
can't do that against Pittsburgh. All right, so what do we have on the text line there, Connor? You can text the show or call the show at 610-632-0975. Also, this NFL.com quarterback power rankings, this has been based off of this season's play. They have Jalen Hurts ranked at 18. Has anybody chimed in on that? Because I don't really have a question for it. It's just, what do you make of that?
Yeah, we do have a check-in on that. Tim from Happy Valley is the name on this one. And they say, Connor, please explain to JK that power rankings mean the current state of the quarterback play. Jalen 100% is middle of the pack with his play as of 12-13-24. That power ranking is pretty spot on.
Jalen has not played worse than Brock Purdy. Jalen has not played worse than Geno Smith.
Geno Smith being ahead of him is 7 spots.
Jalen has not played worse than Bryce Young. So who is that?
Tim from Happy Valley.
Well, Tim from Happy Valley. Let me tell you, Tim, first of all, you better beat SMU. Second of all, that's absolute nonsense because there is nobody who watches NFL football would tell you that that Jalen Hurts has played worse than just 3 of those guys that I mentioned.
Now,
no one.
And I agree with you. So that puts him in the top 15. That puts him at 15.
There you go.
But is that much better?
Not really.
That's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is that the fact is 18's what I take issue with.
Okay.
But I absolutely can say if you're just going on the current state of affairs, there's no way you're not giving me 10. You're not giving me 10. Okay, go on.
I'm totally cool with Allen, Burrow, Lamar.
Oh, no, I am too.
Goff. Mahomes probably shouldn't be ahead of him, but
now remember, just so you say this, that Jared Goff, though he has it fine, threw as many interceptions in 48 minutes of one game as Jalen Hurts has thrown.
Bad game.
As Jalen Hurts has thrown all season.
Stafford.
No,
absolutely. Stafford's played better football.
Stafford has after a crappy starter. Are we just saying? Are we taking it for the last half
John,
of the run?
It's power rank.
He didn't have both of his wide receivers.
But I'm saying no, because Matthew Stafford was ridiculously bad too. He even talks about it. I think he talked about it post-game last night.
Yeah, but he's on a heater right now. You have to think about it in the moment.
Right. I thought this was supposed to be for the season.
No, power rankings are in the moment. Who's playing better?
It goes up, it goes down.
Then you could have Patrick Mahomes have a 2-interception day, and you could have Bryce Young have a 3-touchdown day, and you'd put Bryce Young ahead of him.
Potentially,
No, I don't buy that.
Right.
It's the
premise
season.
of power
No,
ranking.
it's the season. It's who's doing better. That's ridiculous, too. Stafford was abysmal to start this year. He's been great the last 6 weeks, except against the Eagles.
I'm curious. I'm just going to look this up real quick just to see where they were at week 1. So, obviously, Mahomes was 1, Lamar 2, and Josh Allen 3. They had Hurts at 10.
Okay.
Which we had him at 8. So, not far off. So, that means over the course of the season, they've had him drop 8 spots to 18.
It's so stupid. Now, remember, before the year, they also had C.J. Stroud ahead of him.
Yes, they did. And he is no longer ahead of him.
Which is freaking ridiculous.
C.J. Stroud.
No, but that was they had Jordan. By the way, Jordan Love has not had a better year than Jalen Hurts.
I agree with you.
And remember, they was behind those 2 superstars who were they were the greatest thing. Yeah. I think C.J. Stroud was ranked in the top 3 going into the year by one of these stupid lists.
C.J. Stroud is 21st right now.
Yes, that's about where he belongs right now.
Yeah, right now.
And guess what? I think the truth is going to end up lying in the middle eventually. Like last year and this year. I don't think he's as bad as he's been playing, and I don't think he was as good as they were ranking him last year. I think he's going to end up being a good quarterback.
That's fair. All right, what else we got on the text line, Connor?
Jose from Riverside checks in on the game plan. First-time texter here and says, it's simple. If it isn't broken, don't fix it. I would like to see a better passing game, though. Basically, don't change the game plan. Just want to see a better execution of the passing game by Hurts.
Yeah, better I mean, I think that's been the biggest thing where we have not found the same page on from this Panthers game is you're right. He needs to target A.J. Brown more, and A.J. Brown was open. And 21 pass attempts probably should have been he got sacked 4 times, so it should have been 25, 26.
Yeah.
He needs to let it rip when A.J. Brown is wide freaking open. That
he has to. No, he has to.
That has to happen.
That is fair critique.
Yeah.
That is absolutely fair critique.
No, because you can't give away literally that you gave away a touchdown.
No, he did.
On that play,
He
and you're
absolutely
lucky
does.
you played Carolina.
Right, but we're looking at it like you just want the car to start and make sure the car can run, get you from point A to point B of the Eagles passing game. And Johnny and I are just saying, yeah, let's get the jumper cables out a little bit. Maybe push it a little bit and give
Listen,
them
man.
some type of juice to get it going.
My 2002 Toyota Tundra, when I was 18, just needed to get me from point A to point B, man.
Yeah, but that Toyota Tundra ain't winning no Super Bowl.
I don't know where DJ gets this. I didn't know there was a contested ball rate for receivers stat.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, there
There's
is?
stats for
Okay, I didn't realize this. A.J. Brown's, since he's been an Eagle, is second. That's all I'm going to say. Is
throw him the damn ball.
Throw him the ball.
Yeah.
Throw him the ball.
This year, he's been gun shy, Hurts, because of the turnover issues.
Correct.
Early on. And I don't blame him for wanting to limit those. I mean, we were literally saying that that's holding the team back. I think he realized that it was holding the team back.
We were getting all over him for it.
And
by the way, deservingly so.
But now I just think he's overthinking a little bit too much.
Exactly.
So it's from now until the playoffs, he needs to kind of find that middle ground.
Yeah, if you get in a shootout at the OK Corral and your quarterback's gun shy, that's not a good place to be.
Not a good place to be. All right.
Good Western knowledge on your part, Con.
So this article on Fox, title contenders Kryptonite, the trouble spots for the Chiefs, Lions, Bills, Eagles, and Ravens. I want to go through these because, let's face it, we focus so much on the Eagles and how their issues will hold them back, right?
That's fair.
Let me just start off with the Eagles to see what they're saying about them, all right? Their question was, will they generate more explosive plays and overcome bad vibes? We were just talking about how great the vibes were 2 weeks ago. Now the question is, can they overcome the bad ones? But yeah, they talked about the low scoring in the first quarter, obviously.
Which is a problem no matter what any of the Pollyannas will tell you.
And he mentioned over the last 2 weeks, Philadelphia has just one passing play of 20-plus yards over the last two games. That was the Panthers game and the Ravens game. And its struggles pushing the ball down the field could lead to issues in the postseason, affecting the team's ability to play the game on its own terms. And that's what your guys' point have been from the beginning. So basically, they're just saying they need to find ways to get this offense moving the way we all expect it to.
Okay.
All right? I think that's fair.
That's very fair. Not a problem.
Let's just stick in the NFC. Here's what they wrote about the Detroit Lions. Because, again, we are so focused on the Eagles' flaws, we sometimes don't look at the flaws of the other teams.
That would be correct.
They asked the question, can the banged-up defense finish the season strong? 5 of Detroit's 7 starters up front in last week's win over the Packers were not on the 53-man roster to start the season. The Lions have a league-leading 13 defensive players on the team's injured reserve list. While Detroit has the NFL's top-scoring offense with 32.1 points per game, the Lions' defense is allowing 225 passing yards a game, which is 23rd in the league. Detroit's pass defense will be tested again this week when the Bills face Buffalo. Now, the Eagles aren't a pass-happy offense, but maybe Detroit runs into a Packers team that they barely beat last week in the first round of the playoffs, or second round of the playoffs after the bye.
I mean, maybe that's what they're going to find. I mean, it could very well be. If the way things work out, that could be the case.
So, bottom line is every team has a kryptonite. They wrote one on the Chiefs. They wrote one on the Ravens. They wrote one on the Bills, and we can get to those throughout the show.
Do you realize the mania that is going to take over this town? If the Eagles, when the Eagles beat the Steelers,
yes,
and Detroit, if they were to lose to Buffalo, Monday morning, can you imagine what we're going to be sitting at going, wow, 3 games to go. You're right there for the number 1 seed. You just need Detroit to lose once and you to win once. That's pretty damn good.
That would be pretty damn good.
No, you still need Minnesota to lose once.
Yeah, I was going to say, because if Minnesota
they keep on
You need
freaking
one
finding
loss.
ways to win, man. It's
You need one loss.
unbelievable.
You need one loss. Like I said it last week. You need right now for the Birds. The Birds have a scenario where they need 6 things. Last week they needed 7 things to happen for them to be the number 1 seed. That number only went down to 6.
But at least it went down,
last
Johnny.
week. So it went down. Now you win on Sunday. You got a good chance. Then if you get that Detroit loss, because I don't believe anybody thinks Minnesota's running the table, then you're saying, wow.
Yeah, they got a tough back end.
They do. They have a really tough back end.
Home against Chicago, which they should win that game, but divisional game.
At the Seahawks, you can look at that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's got the spreadsheet.
He's got the spreadsheet, but I Google. It takes me 5 seconds.
At the Seahawks versus the Packers, and then at the Lions. They're losing 1 or 2.
But if they lose to the Lions, then the Lions are going to have a tough time.
But as long as the Vikings have lost, one of their games before then, either at Seattle or home versus the Packers, and we're not worried about the Packers.
Dude, screw the NFC North. I'm sorry. Just screw that whole division.
They're sending 3 teams to the playoffs, man. It's unbelievable.
Deservingly so.
Bears' fault.
Before we get back to our text line at 610-632-0975, I just have one simple word to say.
One?
No.
I saw it.
Okay, I answered yes to your question, your skewed question.
Oh, skewed question.
What about what no are you answering?
The Dolphins and 3-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. have mutually agreed to part ways per sources. Beckham is hoping for more opportunities elsewhere, and the team is granting his release. He'll be on waivers until Monday.
Hell no.
No.
No, hell no.
Just no.
Can we give it a hell?
Just no. Yes, hell no.
He's going to be like, if they get the number one.
Can I get a hell yeah?
If we get the number 1 seed, he's going to be saying, let's take a boat trip. And let's wear Timberland boots on a boat. Who does that?
I just don't get, Odell's
wearing Timberlands on a boat?
Odell Beckham has been legitimately irrelevant. I'll be harsh, irrelevant since 2019.
He'd be better than Jahan Dotson if they put him in the lineup Sunday against the Steelers.
But still, no.
No, I got you. But he'd be better than Jahan Dotson.
Actually, I don't know
if they plugged him in against the Steelers, he'd be better.
I don't know if he'd be. Dude,
I think he's washed.
He might be cooked, man.
I'm going to tell you right now, I think he'd be better.
Jahan Dotson might just not be necessarily great, but Odell Beckham Jr.
Not necessarily great.
I think Odell Beckham Jr. is cooked. I don't think he's got anything left in the tank.
We got another year of Jahan Dotson.
Yes, we do.
I'm good with that.
He'll have a full year in the training camp.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the offense. What do we got on the text line, Connor?
All right, we have more people checking in on the idea of the game plan. A lot of people on the side of not really changing stuff. So Dan from Marlton checks in, first-time texter. It says, although I agree that A.J. Brown needs the ball and more targets, especially when he's open, I don't really care how we win as long as we win. What I don't want is for Jalen to make unwarranted throws to try and appease this rhetoric of the passing game needing to be better. Now, you might have incepted him to say appease by
with
the
your
topic.
skewed question.
But I want to see us continue to use the NFL MVP, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
MSNBC and Fox both are willing to hire you to put their, to write their chyron at the bottom of the screen. You're so skewed. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, but I don't skew any way in that.
I know. I'm saying that.
In that world.
But you've already shown. You could go either. You could skew it any way you want.
Is there an actual unbised news network? Because I could work for that one. Because I don't.
No, there isn't.
I don't think so.
No, there is not. Let it be known. I mean, look. It's a. I understand that the Steelers and the point to this is that Steelers turnover number. It's absolutely understandable that somebody would say this is not the week to really unleash the passing game because of the opponent you're facing.
Yeah, that's my argument.
When you have 3 horrendous pass defenses coming up. But the Commanders, Cowboys, Giants, honestly, those games are not going to tell me a thing about whether the Eagles can win in January.
No, you're right. But my thing is, I believe that the passing game can be elite because of the talent of the players, right? I know A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert when he comes back, hopefully for the postseason. I believe in the talent level of the players. I just want to see the execution of the game plan. That's it.
Now, if anything, this weekend would be the weekend because of what you said afterwards, saying you wouldn't learn anything from those other teams. If you can pass well against the Steelers, then that means you could maybe pass well against the Lions or the Vikings.
No, that's true.
So maybe this would be the weekend for you to do it.
That could very well work.
But the problem is if it doesn't work out, then what are we saying on Monday?
Well, then we're a little worried.
Exactly. I don't want to be worried.
See, you don't want to open the closet to see if there's a monster.
I like being in my own little shell.
You open the closet, it could just be closed.
Things are good. I'm very comfortable.
What are you scared of?
I'm the typical Philadelphian. I don't want to go anywhere else during the summer. I just want to go down the Jersey Shore, right? I'm very, very happy with my life.
By the way, Tommy pointing out my number is 7. The Eagles need the 4 wins, the 2 Lions losses, and the 1 Minnesota loss. So the number's at 7 today. It went from 8 to 7 last week.
It still went down.
Went down. It did, but I hope it's at 5 on Monday morning.
All right, coming up next, we're going to take a quick break from talking Eagles, but we will talk NFL. But I'm sure you will love this because we had a wild day of Thursday night football. We'll talk about the game that took place between the Rams and 49ers. The Rams win, which impacts the playoff picture, and the Eagles could face potentially the Rams in the playoffs. And oh, by the way, I'm sure we will all love to talk about the downfall of the 49ers. The downfall isn't just them losing. It's straight up what's happening with their players. A wild moment in the game last night. We'll talk about that next. It's Kincade and Salciunas on this Football Friday, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
A Pennsylvania showdown. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by AAA Car Care. Save up to $30 on auto repair with their AAA Triple Play. Only at AAA Car Care Centers. Offer valid through December 31st. Details at AAA.com/mycar. The Eagles have a Pennsylvania showdown set for Sunday as they match up with the Pittsburgh Steelers, 4:25 p.m. at Lincoln Financial Field. And the Birds are darn healthy heading into this game. On yesterday's injury report, nobody carrying an injury designation for Sunday's game. All 53 active players on the roster are clean and clear. Now, they do have some guys on IR, but that's remarkable for this time of year. And that puts them in pretty good shape to deal with a tough Steelers team. Yesterday, Brooke Pryor of ESPN, who covers the Steelers, joined our own Andrew DeCecco and talked about the impact that Russell Wilson has made in Pittsburgh.
He is very much doing what Arthur Smith is asking him to do, not pressing. He's not taking too many sacks. By and large, I mean, I think that he's just doing exactly what they're asking, and it's working out.
So the Eagles will have to deal with Russell Wilson. They'll also have to deal with that tough Steelers defense on Sunday as they look to make it 10 straight victories. The Flyers took down the Red Wings 4-1 last night. Scott Lawton, 4 goals in the game, all 4 coming off the stick of Lutz. A great game for him, and the Flyers another win, so they'll be back on the ice tomorrow at 2 p.m. to look to extend the winning streak. The Sixers are back from their long break tonight at 7 p.m. against the Pacers. You can hear that game live here on 97.5 The Fanatic. We'll talk to Andrew DeCecco for the entire 8 a.m. hour and Kevin Negandhi at 9 a.m. I'm Connor Thomas from the Sixers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Can you feel it?
The Eagles are back to being... Football Friday here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Our man Andrew DeCecco will join us coming up at 8 o'clock for the entire hour. Kevin Negandhi will join us at 9. We've been talking Eagles all show today for the first hour and a half. Of course we have been, but I want to take a step aside from the Eagles, but stick in the realm of the NFL. So last night, we had a Thursday night game. There was a monsoon happening in San Francisco. So for those of you who had Juwan Jennings playing in your fantasy football playoffs, that sucked. 5 whole points. I'm not complaining.
Be better.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So the Rams win last night. It was an ugly one. What, 12-7 was the final score? Yeah, horrible game. But the Rams win, which improves their record to 8-6. And we kind of got into this conversation earlier in this week with Amy about, look, not that we can choose, but if you could choose Commanders or Rams, who would you rather face in the first round? Amy absolved herself from answering, but you and I agreed Commanders. Connor agrees Commanders.
Yes.
Amy just doesn't want to put the bad juju out there, which I don't blame her for having that take. But the Rams are the first team out looking in right now on the playoffs. And
that's on my spreadsheet too, by the way.
Oh, that's good work. I have it on NFL.com/standings.
Yeah, but you see is you have to jump pages to see that.
I just Googled
I have
NFL playoff
I have it
picture.
all on one. I can just roll right down and see it. I can share this with you if you'd like.
You're ridiculous. Rams are a half game back of the Commanders.
Correct.
For the wild card. Now, the Rams could also still win their division because the Seahawks are 8-5 and the Rams are 8-6.
Seahawks,
so they have
though,
every chance.
Seahawks have a rugged ride home.
Yeah, they do.
Packers at home, Vikings at home, at the Bears, at the Rams. Like those last week, the NFC South is coming. I mean, the NFC West is coming down to that last week.
So
most
honestly,
likely.
best thing if we're not worried about the Rams, but if we look at the Rams going, I'd rather not face them. The best thing for us would be for them to win the division, because then they would be the 3 seed.
Then you could play them if they won their first playoff game. You would and the Eagles did.
Yeah,
they would automatically play the next week.
Right.
That would be the matchup.
Yeah.
The Eagles are going to need, if they're the 2 seed, are going to need either the NFC South winner or the NFC West winner to win their home playoff game. If they do that, they are going to be the automatic team that comes here. And the harder team is going to end up going to Detroit.
Right. Exactly.
The 2 seed, you have to win 3 games, so that's harder. But it could be an easier path.
It could be an easier path. You're right. So the Rams win. They beat the 49ers. 49ers are not dead, but
they're close.
Their current playoff probability percentage is 1%.
Is that really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You do not have that on your
I don't have
handy
I don't
spreadsheet?
I don't do the playoff percentages. I do not.
The Rams are at 50%. The Commanders are at 87% if they win on Sunday against the Saints. And you've been saying that you have a sneaky feeling.
I've just had a weird feeling all week long that game's going to be weird.
Yeah.
And we could go into the game where the Eagles can beat the Steelers. You know, Commanders lose. Eagles beat the Steelers. The division's won that day.
Right. That day, it's over.
Which is a totally different discussion.
Yeah. So the Rams win, and you have to keep an eye on them come playoff time because Matt Stafford is in rhythm with Puka Nacua, not Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp did nothing yesterday. But that offense is pretty prolific, and the defense obviously is pretty good too. I think yesterday was more so because of the conditions of the weather than the Rams having a great day on defense. But the Rams have a decent defense. So let's unpack a couple things here. First off, we just unpacked Rams could be a playoff team, something to keep an eye on. The San Francisco 49ers, that core is done. Deebo Samuel is a mess. And oh, by the way, how about that drop yesterday that would have been a touchdown pass following a week where he said, I'm not struggling, I'm just not getting the ball. And the community notes on Twitter said, no, he is struggling. He leads the league in drops.
He's going to get rid of he'll probably be gone from most speculation.
Yeah, I don't know what he is. They try to line him up wide receiver, running back. He's a weapon. But
I think he's a really good weapon.
But,
Here's what I will tell you right now. If Deebo Samuel is not a San Francisco 49er, next year he'll be a Chief.
I could see it.
And you know what he'll be? A Pro Bowler.
Yeah, probably. But they're falling apart. I mean, obviously they've been dealing with injuries all season long.
Got to tell you, hate to see it.
I love to see it. Every second of it.
Kyle Shanahan.
Now, how about this question? Now, we just talked about this, I think, earlier in the week or at some point last week. Dude, what do you do with Brock Purdy if you're the San Francisco 49ers?
You pay him?
$60 million a year?
You pay him? Well, I don't know. You do that.
That's what the market is.
That's fine. You pay him?
$60 million?
No, you don't necessarily are going to have to pay him 60. The only way you have to pay him 60 is if someone else is willing to pay him 60. No one else is going to pay him 60. They don't have to pay him 60.
All right, fine. 50 plus.
If they pay him Jalen Hurts money, they'll pay him Jalen Hurts money. They pay him. If they're committed to Kyle Shanahan going forward, they pay him.
Is Kyle Shanahan committed to him?
I believe so.
Shanahan's moved on from Garoppolo, Lance.
He has.
He's not afraid. He goes, I'll find another guy. I'll find another
you
guy.
Don't. You're going to say
Absolutely not.
You're the San Francisco 49ers, who, by the way, were right with the Lions, the overwhelming favorites in the NFC going into this year.
Yes.
Yep.
So you're going to say we're tossing our starting quarterback aside and we're starting over next year?
You know why?
With 80% of that roster still there?
This is going to be the fourth era of San Francisco 49ers football saying we're a quarterback away.
Yep.
Garoppolo, we're a quarterback away. Trey Lance, we're a quarterback away. I wouldn't be surprised if they say the same thing about Brock Purdy.
So they're going to tell their fan base, we got 80% of that roster still here. We were the overwhelming favorites to go to a Super Bowl in 2024, and we got ravaged by injury. And we're going to just toss that aside and start with a new quarterback and give ourselves pretty much no chance to go to a Super Bowl.
Yeah. No, because you know what their argument is? We can do it with anybody.
Yeah.
We did it with Jimmy G. We did it with Brock Purdy. Nobody around the league considers those guys like top of the line guys.
No, you're right.
And so we're going to go
and
find
that's
another
to
one.
Shanahan's credit. I know,
No, it is.
You guys got beef. But.
He's the kind of guy who he's just a bad guy.
But can't you see him being the guy going, I'll find someone else?
You know what, too? He didn't tip the trash guy.
Well, that's
just, another thing I can throw in his thing.
Come on.
He did not. Everybody where his house was, everybody tipped the trash guy. He did not tip the trash.
He just doesn't carry cash.
This guy's a bad dude.
you tip the trash man.
Yeah.
You give $10, $15, $20.
But
And he did not tip the trash guy. The trash guy let people know. Here's the guy making millions.
Yeah.
That didn't tip.
I'm also anti-paying quarterbacks in general, though, which puts me in a weird spot in this Purdy conversation because if I don't think you're a Super Bowl winning quarterback, because of you,
pay him.
I ain't paying you.
I know.
Look,
you know how I feel about
that
this
criteria. Did you pay Hurts?
Yes.
Because he was in a Super Bowl.
No,
of the
because so was Purdy.
Right, but Jalen Hurts' Super Bowl performance compared to Brock Purdy, not even close.
Hurts was amazing.
Purdy is managing Super Bowls. Hurts was going out there and winning one.
Now, last thing from yesterday's game is this continues to just be a bleep storm in San Francisco.
Okay.
So Devondre Campbell plays for the San Francisco 49ers. He's a linebacker.
He plays?
Well, not anymore. He walked off of the field yesterday. He quit in the middle of the game yesterday. Just straight up said, I'm done. See you guys. He basically pulled an Antonio Brown. He pulled Deontay Johnson. By the way, second time this year where somebody's quit in the middle of a game.
Dude, second time in 2 weeks?
Yeah. So this guy just walks off the field, and his teammates were not shy about their opinion of Devondre Campbell. George Kittle at the podium said, I've never been around anybody that's ever done that. I hope I'm never around anyone that does that again. But Mooney Ward was even worse. Like, he was just straight up saying
he'll be cut soon.
He's going to be cut soon. I don't mess around with somebody like that. Like, dude, this guy is public enemy number one inside for that San Francisco 49ers locker room, and I couldn't love it anymore.
Well, you just love to see the turmoil.
Yes.
He was in Atlanta when he got drafted. Got to know him a little bit. I'm absolutely floored.
Yeah, surprised?
Yeah, I'm absolutely floored. I don't know what the story is here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the story is.
Right, like, why'd you walk off? But still, man.
But there's no reason to walk off on your teammates in the middle of.
You're going to lose a lot of respect.
And
that's not just that locker room.
That's bad.
Like, I still can't believe Deontay Johnson did what he did with the Ravens on a contract year. What team is going to say, you know what, yeah, we want that attitude here?
I think he thought he was going to get cut and he'd be able to go back.
Maybe.
I think he tried to pull a little, I'm a problem, and then it didn't work out in his favor.
It didn't work out for him at all. All right, coming up next, we'll check the text line on today's topics. Do you want to see the Eagles pass the ball more on Sunday? And maybe that could make you feel better about the playoffs and how people say that you need to throw in order to win. Or do you want them to stick with what has been working? That's at least my answer, because I believe this has been what's turned the season around, this run-first offense. Also, I have a question about the stock that you're taking into this Sunday's game. We'll get into that next as well. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philadelphia Flyers hockey.
Pivot with a shot. 7 on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Hey, by the way, our man Andrew DeCecco will be in with us for the entire 8 o'clock hour. Fellow football man. Me and Andrew, the two football guys on the show. I
just had a real football guy.
Yeah, what does he know?
A real football guy listening to the show. He's a real good guy.
What does he know?
He's an ex-Eagle.
What does he know?
And he says your boy Connor has it right.
Ooh.
He agreed with me and you on Andrew's punk him on his premise.
By the way, if he's still listening, he's a very nice man.
He is a nice man.
And there was a
He
time,
dresses well, too. I always compliment him on his dress. He goes, he punk Andrew on his premise because he says to appease A.J. Brown. He said, I agree with you that they need to do it. He goes, but your boy Connor probably has it right because this might not be the week to do
all right,
it.
can you text him back
you
and
got
say,
time.
I don't need that man's head getting any bigger? He called himself CT earlier this week.
That's
Well,
my initials.
All right. I can't. Yeah, but it's like first person, but you can't be going CT.
Yeah, be going third person.
Come on, third person.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you.
Only Jalen Hurts can go third person,
By
which
the way,
is just ridiculous.
Jalen
also.
Hurts does what Jalen Hurts
wait.
wants to do.
Can I ask you-
love that line,
Can
man.
I ask you a question? What is Deep Space Nine?
What?
Tony always sends me DMs and says, "Today you look like every." Now this is not appropriate right now. He goes, "You look like every guy who denies every medical claim at every major insurance company." Today he says, "You look like the villain from any episode of Deep Space Nine."
It's apparently a Star Trek thing.
Yes,
Why-
somemer said you look like the Undertaker's manager. You're getting a lot of stuff on the. You're getting a lot of stuff on the outfit today.
Guess
Johnny.
what? This is Under Armour outlet, Philadelphia outlet balls, 1999,
Johnny,
baby.
Johnny, even though you never have my back, I'll have yours. You look good today.
I think you
Really?
look sharp.
See, now the thing is, it's really warm. Because I like just wearing a short sleeve T-shirt under it. It's very warm. But $19.99 at the outlet in like 5 colors. I only got one though,
Yeah,
because I didn't trust it.
Who's
Damn
watching
right.
the Haunted Mansion while you're here?
That's not
kidding.
bad. No, that's not bad either.
Right.
I said I didn't know what Deep Space Nine was. I thought Star Trek was Star Trek.
I don't
know. I'm not a
Dude,
Star Trek guy.
let's go on.
I'm a sportsman.
Can I tell people about how they can win Sixers tickets?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, let's do it.
So we're going to do No to Checo, as we do. Andrew's going to be joining us for the entire 8 o'clock hour. And as he says things, I'll take a few notes. And one of those things will be the answer to the question. We actually have 2 pairs. So how about this? We're going to do 2 Know the Show questions.
That's awesome.
We'll do one at the end of the first segment because that's our 20-minute juicy segment where DeCecco's just spewing knowledge left and right. And then we'll do one at the end of the hour. So a pair of tickets, 2 pairs of tickets, one for each individual winner for the Pacers game tonight. It's a big,
Wow, that's a good thing.
Sixers haven't played in 5 days. That means Joel Embiid
He
might play.
might play tonight. Yeah, he might need more time off.
Single game tickets are on sale now. So we'll give away 2 pairs.
It's
coming
not
up.
even funny anymore. It's like
No,
it's so
not.
annoying.
No, we laugh so we don't cry.
Exactly.
That's all. All right, Connor, you know what? Before we get to the text line, so how much stock? I want to ask you guys this question. We'll ask Andrew this in the 8 o'clock hour. How much stock are you putting into this game?
I'm putting a ton into it. Really am.
Because you're playing a legit defense.
No, tonight is Sunday is another chance to just assure what I already believe. I believed this team was going to go to the NFC title game, and then I told you win them both. I think they're going to go to New Orleans.
But what if they have like a slip up? Are you going to then change?
You're going to tell me the game. If the slip up is
Eagles lose 24-13.
I'm really unhappy. Yeah, if the offensive line doesn't hold up, I'm really unhappy. It
doesn't hold up against one of the best pass rushers
No, I'm really
in the last 5 years.
I'm really unhappy. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm really unhappy if that happens.
Now, I will say there's no T.J. Watt coming your way in the first
there
couple
isn't.
rounds of the playoffs.
There isn't.
As long as Hutchinson doesn't come back.
I want to win a Super Bowl. I don't want to just win a game against the Commanders and celebrate a playoff
I completely
victory.
agree with you.
So I don't want to it doesn't matter to me what you do in the.
But they've passed their tests of the Rams and Ravens with flying colors. I mean, they're
Yeah,
not
the Rams
gonna win
aren't even a
every
playoff
single
team this
week.
morning. With 3 weeks to go, the Rams aren't a playoff team.
Yeah, but that's a team where
That's
Connor's
like
straight up
we're-
saying I'm keeping a close eye on them.
Yeah,
Sure, you
they,
can do
they
that.
make me a little nervous. So I'll tell you what I'm doing, Johnny, with this game.
Okay.
So you know how you handle your class? You get to drop your lowest grade.
They get to drop 10 assignments If you show up with no unexcused absence, you only take your top 6 grades.
Oh, okay. Well, some professors do, like, you drop your lowest test grade.
Yeah.
And if you've done well enough on the other tests, you get to drop one of the ones later on in the semester, or in this case, the season. This is the drop the test for the Philadelphia Eagles. I've seen enough from this team that I'm not putting much stock into this game.
Wow, interesting. You guys are like two totally different sides of this.
We are.
Interesting.
I don't know. Like,
Curious to hear what the people think about
I have
that.
faith in this team. Whether they go out there and smoke the Steelers, they might have a miss. The Eagles have never, in their franchise history, had a 10-game win streak, right? This would be the record.
This is the record.
They tied it last
Like,
week.
listen, it's hard to win 10 straight times.
Yes.
But 9 is impressive, and I'm cool with that.
All right, what do we have on the text line, CT?
That's never going to die, is it? Oh, my God.
No.
What about
You
it,
did-
18?
You brought that to yourself.
Come on,
man.
18. What is it?
Right. So a check-in here, no name on this text, but they say, I don't think the Eagles should deviate from their game plan because they're winning games. However, I believe it's inevitable that they're going to because of all the attention the recent drama has stirred up. At the end of the day, though, everyone will be happy if you win a Super Bowl. Either way you're playing, I just want them to do what helps them win.
All right. And what's got them winning has been the way they've been playing over the last 9 weeks.
Unfortunately,
it's a 9-game winning streak.
The vast majority of those teams will not be on a potential playoff challenge.
Nah, you got to beat
Especially if you
ahead
have to
of
win
Johnny.
4. You got to win 4 games in the playoffs. The vast majority of teams in the 9-game winning streak will not even be invited to the party.
I understand.
Too ugly to go to the prom.
But, again, my premise on all of this is I think this is their best way of winning.
Okay.
I don't know if Jalen Hurts is going to win some quarterback duel. I don't.
Okay.
That's just the way it's been this year. And they've been leading with the run, and it has been the best thing for this team since the bye week. The best thing for this team was those offensive linemen walking to Nick Sirianni's office. It's the best thing that's happened to this team. They've won 9 straight since then.
Do you think that A.J. Brown maybe has a little bit of an issue that they got their way?
No.
I do.
I don't think so. I think he just had an issue that he was 50 yards downfield wide open, and Jalen Hurts was hesitant to throw the football. I think that's what his issue was.
You and I absolutely have a different opinion then. I absolutely think he thinks that they've gone too far in one direction, and he wishes they hadn't.
No, because here's the thing.
He wants to win.
Like, look,
but
we talk about the plays where A.J. Brown was wide open, right?
We do.
And Jalen either didn't look his way or did and then didn't pull the trigger. If he does pull the trigger, that's 4 or 5 more targets. He finishes with 8 or 9. It has nothing to do with the game plan. It had everything to do with the quarterback last week. And if the quarterback pulls the trigger, those targets go up.
I don't think A.J. was talking about 1 week. I think A.J.'s been talking about something that's been going on for a couple months.
2 weeks earlier, he had 100 yards.
Yeah, he did.
Week before that, he had a nice day against Baltimore in
Yeah.
a game where they only threw the ball 19 times.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I think you're underestimating and I hate the word diva, the selfish nature of wide receivers to be more involved.
No, I think that's why this is happening, because he is being one.
Yeah, but I don't think it's because of one game.
Okay.
Not at all.
It's just one game that made him voice his frustration, and that's what bothered me when it's been 9 straight wins. All right, it is Kincade and Salciunas on a Football Friday. Andrew DeCecco joins us next for the entire 8 o'clock hour. Don't miss it, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
A good sign for Sunday's game. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by Corona. Want to win tickets to a Sixers game? Enter for your chance to win at the Fanatics Corona Sixers pregame party events happening all season long, hosted by our man Andrew Salciunas. For details, go to the events page on 975thefanatic.com. The Eagles got some good signs ahead of Sunday's game with the injury report yesterday. As of yesterday, all 53 active players on the roster without an injury designation. That's remarkable considering that we're heading into Week 15 of the NFL season. So they're remarkably healthy, and they're taking on a pretty tough team in the Pittsburgh Steelers Sunday, 4:25 p.m. at Lincoln Financial Field. Yesterday, Brooke Pryor, who covers Pittsburgh for ESPN, joined our own Andrew DeCecco and talked about the impact that quarterback Russell Wilson has made out there in the Steel City.
He is very much doing what Arthur Smith is asking him to do, not pressing. He's not taking too many sacks. By and large, I mean, I think that he's just doing exactly what they're asking, and it's working out.
So we'll see if the Birds can handle Russell Wilson. We'll also see if they can handle that big-time Steelers defense and T.J. Watt. It'll be a tall task on Sunday. The Flyers took down the Red Wings 4-1 last night. Scott Lawton, all 4 goals for the Flyers. What a night for Lawtz. The Flyers will be back on the ice tomorrow at 2 p.m. The Sixers are back from their long break tonight, 7 p.m. against the Pacers. You can hear that game live here on 97.5 The Fanatic. We'll talk to Andrew DeCecco for the entire hour coming up next. Kevin Negandhi will join us at 9. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
every second of that commercial break. That's just what we do, man.
That's because Chatty Cathy was in here.
It's nonstop.
Mr. Andrew DeCecco.
It is 8 o'clock on this football Friday. I hope you have a safe drive into work today. I hope you have a freaking amazing weekend, and I hope the Eagles win on Sunday and keep on running the football. Andrew DeCecco joins us for the entire hour. We have 2 pairs of Sixers tickets for tonight's game against the Pacers to give away. So we will give away one at the end of this segment from playing Know the DeCecco, and we'll do one during the final half hour at some point from Know the DeCecco. So make sure you're listening closely. We'll ask the question toward the end of this segment. Andrew DeCecco, good morning. How are we today?
Andrew, John, CT, how we doing? I'm doing great.
So
Football Friday.
It is a Football Friday, and we have today's headlines with Connor Thomas coming up at 8:05. And I know you've been listening to today's show on your way in.
As many people do.
We talk,
Whether they work here or not.
The talk of the town, man.
The game plan conversation. So this is our first chance talking to you since everything happened. We obviously had you on Monday after the Eagles win against the Panthers and what A.J. Brown had to say. But the story was more so what Brandon Graham brought up Monday night, and then the reports from Tim McManus, and then everything that happened at the press conferences on Wednesday, which, by the way, they were all spectacular. I'm sure you were there, I imagine.
Yep, I was there.
Jalen was great. Sirianni was great. A.J. Brown was great. But now we start looking at this game ahead on Sunday, and we go, all right, are they going to make the passing game an emphasis to maybe, I use the word appease. John said that's unfair to use.
I thought he slanted the question by saying, do you do that?
To work on. How about that? Because you may think that you need to throw in order to win. That's been something that Connor's been saying for weeks, where I say this team's best way of winning is by running the football, limiting what Jalen Hurts has to do, but he has to pull the trigger when A.J. Brown's open. So when you hear that conversation, where do you fall on this?
Well, I think it behooves the Eagles to stick with their bread and butter and run the football until a team proves that they can't stop you. Or they can stop you, but when A.J. Brown's open, you have to pull the trigger. You have to take the plays that are out there to be made,
right.
And there are a number of them when you go back and watch the last handful of weeks. There are players running wide open. But Saquon Barkley and the Eagles' offensive line are so imposing right now. They are literally forcing teams to fold late in games. I think you have to stick with that until a team proves that they can shut it down.
So you were saying that I would like to go in the head of Mike Tomlin. I'm fully convinced that Mike Tomlin says, we're going to let Jalen be the one that has to beat us. Do you believe that would be his mindset too? I'm going to make Jalen throw the ball all day long.
I think that's going to be a lot of coaches' mindset going into games. And look, it's kind of a pick your poison, John, because we've all seen Jalen Hurts have really effective games throwing the football, but not this season. Not really.
It hasn't been this year, correct?
So that should be the approach, because Saquon Barkley has proven that, yeah, you might see 3 or 4 yards at a time, but you know that 40 or 50-yard run is coming. You know that Landon Dickerson and Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson are going to wear down eventually a defensive front, and then the dam is going to ultimately break. But with Jalen, he's not seeing the field particularly well right now. Perhaps he's risk-averse because so much of an emphasis was placed on his ability to protect the football.
Right.
There's a multitude of reasons here as to why there are shortcomings in the passing game, but he's missing open receivers, and he's reluctant to fit the ball into tight windows and push it down the field. So I would expect a coach like Mike Tomlin, one of my favorites, I think what he's been able to do has been remarkable. I would expect the coach like that to kind of take advantage of it.
So as this hour continues with Andrew, we'll obviously preview more of Eagles-Steelers. I do have another game plan question for you coming up in a little bit, but it is 8:05. It is time now for today's headlines with CT, Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
What do you got, CT?
What up, CT?
I got some
CT.
good stuff. All right. Let's get into this because you're going to want to hear this. I'm sure you guys
Listen, man, I was
probably...
the Tunis for 5 years, all right? So you could be CT.
Yeah, you were made out to be like a character from the Muppets for years.
No, I loved it. It's a good time.
I like calling you Andrew.
Thank you.
Tunis, Grover, Big Bird.
What?
All right, Muppets, let's get to this from an interesting podcast. So this was on Amon-Ra St. Brown's podcast, and he was joined by the guy that helped the Eagles win a game last week, and Xavier Legette. Now, he had the big drop, but they weren't really talking about that. They were more talking about his diet. And we know Xavier Legette has the heavy Southern drawl.
I would listen to this man speak Any day.
Well, you get to listen to us speak right now about one of the strangest things I've ever heard a person eating.
What's your hottest food take? So, like, is there something weird that you like to eat or something you don't like to eat that you can never eat that most people would eat?
I eat raccoon.
You what?
I eat raccoon.
I didn't see that.
I say, no, what do you mean raccoon? Like the raccoon?
Like a raccoon that you see in the trash can.
So when's the last time you had a raccoon?
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
By the way,
Wow.
this is where I know people have grown up here. I've known many people that have eaten raccoon.
That's a rabid animal. I mean,
Raccoon, squirrel.
Well, it doesn't have to be rabid.
Raccoon, squirrel.
aren't they all?
No, they're not all.
No, they're rabid if they're awake during the daytime.
Yeah, you're fine.
If you see them at night, then
I know
they're
people who
fine.
have. Yeah, I know people who have eaten raccoon.
They're a trash can animal.
I know.
I'm
Yeah.
not eating that.
They are. I'm not eating it either, but I know people
All right,
have eaten it.
craziest thing you've eaten then?
Venison? No.
Come on.
Alligator?
Yeah,
that's it.
alligator's good,
Gator's
man.
good.
It's good.
Alligator's
It's
good.
tough.
It's
though.
good.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I've had cow brain.
I've had kangaroo patties.
What?
Yeah, I've had kangaroo patties. There's a place in Parksburg that actually sells them frozen, of course. But I've had elk,
Elk. I've had elk.
emu.
I've never had emu. The emu.
Yeah, and lengua, which is beef tongue. I'm a big
Oh,
fan
no.
of lengua
See,
tacos.
See, now, my wife being Jamaican, they all kinds of tongue.
Yeah,
Any
yeah.
cow tongue, everything is all huge delicacy over in Jamaica.
I've done the
The
crickets
day you
before.
can't talk anymore is the day I'll know what you guys had
That's
for dinner.
it. Exactly.
All right, let's move on. So speaking of trash, not going to do the raccoons thing anymore, but we're going to talk the New York Giants.
Yeah, they're trash.
Did you guys see this from practice yesterday, the report that came out about the New York Giants?
No.
Missed it.
So Pat Leonard, who covers the team up there in New York, tweeted out, the Giants had a red zone period of practice today outside. 30 degrees, 18-mile-per-hour winds, so it wasn't the best conditions. The offense went 0 for 17 on passes, including going 0 for 4 versus air. No defenders on the field.
Yeah, let's bench Daniel Jones, though.
That team is
Yeah, what are
incredible.
we doing?
They play the Ravens on Sunday, so why don't we take a look at
Tommy DeVito is a joke.
And it was a joke last year.
It was a
too.
joke last year. Everybody had the funny ha-has because of the cutlets and because of the agent.
And then he tried to shake down that poor pizza restaurant, right? For an appearance.
It became such a joke. And, look, at this point, they're just trying to get the best draft pick that they could possibly get.
Yeah, but you don't have to do that in practice. You can complete
Yes.
throws in practice.
The over under 10 completions for Tommy DeVito this weekend. I'm going to say under.
I'm going to say
Wow,
under. If he can't
okay.
complete against ghosts, he's not completing against a Ravens defense, even though the Ravens passing defense isn't all that great, but the Eagles ran against them and ran well.
That's fair.
I
All
think
right.
that's fair.
Let's run out the rest of this with headlines replay.
Do you want them to appease the passing offense by changing a game plan, changing a style of attack for this Sunday, or do you want them to stick with what works?
Listen, man, I think you're going to have to find out sooner rather than later what happens. And Andrew DeCecco brought up in his open here with us about how you don't have to change it until somebody stops it. Well, what happens if nobody stops it and then you're heading into a playoff game?
Then that means
and
nobody
then you-
stopped it for 13 straight
Okay,
weeks.
so-
The data is strong there.
I understand, but don't you want to find the other points of data? Like, don't you want to find out if you
So
can do
you mean I
something?
need I want somebody to stop the Eagles' run defense.
You know what this is?
Rushing
And
offense.
I'm not saying the Eagles are doomed, but this is the only example that came to mind. This is like the Titanic not checking the lifeboats.
That's
Listen,
a little dramatic, but
No, I
it's the unsinkable
I
ship.
like it.
But guess what?
Yeah,
Once
I
they
like
found
it.
out they were sinking, they were screwed
Yeah, but you
because
know
they
what?
didn't
For
check the
everybody
backup plan.
for everybody that says, well, Jalen can do it if they need to. I've seen them do it during the Super Bowl. Then you should feel comfortable.
and I don't want to speak for you, Andrew, but and we're not suggesting that they don't pass at all. I'm saying that it's going to be there when you need it and hit the players when they're open. But when the running game is as effective as it is, stick with it. Don't try to reinvent the wheel.
The Bengals, their record stinks this year, right? But the offense is really, really good, right?
Sure.
Joe Burrow is really good. The Bengals offense is really good because he throws the ball 40 times. I'm not going to start saying, yeah, but you know what? He should start throwing it 25 times because I want to see if that ground game with Chase Brown's got something.
Right. So
no, I want him to keep on throwing because that's what their strength is.
I'm not going to say, I'm not saying at all, you're wrong here, Andrew, football guy Andrew DeCecco.
Oh, that's
not the
I'm
faux
sorry.
Yeah. But you say the passing game will be there when they need it. I just want to hear your explanation of why you believe that to be the case, because some people are nervous about that.
Because Dallas Goedert should be back for the playoffs. You got to remember, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert have not all played together for very much this season. So having those three playmakers and Saquon Barkley and someone like a Kenny Gainwell who they trust and can help you in the passing game and Grant Calcaterra, I think there's enough playmakers there. It's an embarrassment of riches. It shouldn't take much effort to get these players to football.
And oh, by the way, during this entire winning streak, and again, it's the passing offense, it depends on how we're having the conversation, right? I'm not saying that he should only throw the ball 15 times. I'm not saying he should throw the ball 30 times. I want it to be that 20 to 25 range where that's what we've been seeing since the winning streak, but it's got to be efficient. This winning streak, he's had 2 games where his rating has been under 100, just 2. And he hasn't been throwing 40 times, but when he throws the ball, it's been efficient. Completion percentages of 70-plus in 6 games during this winning streak. Sorry, 5 games during this winning streak. That's all I need. Hit the open receiver, which he didn't do on Sunday when A.J. Brown was wide open. That's the only thing that I need to see better from Jalen Hurts. I don't need to see him win a game with his arm.
But it has to be better earlier because it's tough to turn it on late in games, waiting for Saquon Barkley to rev it up. And I think that when earlier in games, you're seeing drives stall and they're not able to produce points because the passing game falls short. Players are open. He's not throwing with anticipation. So it takes a while for him to get warmed up, kind of like an Oldsmobile in January, I guess. But you got to be better than that in the postseason, especially in high leverage moments.
Do you believe to win a championship? Let's say they're the 2 seed. They have to win 4 games. Do you believe Jalen Hurts is going to have to help win a game or 2 with his arm?
I do.
So do I. So I want to see it.
Now, what is that, 30 times?
Against close to it. Yeah. If you're talking about winning
you want to see it, but if the game script doesn't call for it, I mean, you're not just going to throw for the sake of doing it. The one thing is what I've learned is that the Eagles have a strange tendency to go up against a team and say, this is the team you want to run the ball against. And they come out pass happy. Or that this is the team you want to pass against. And they're running against them. I have no idea what their mindset is. So give me this mindset. Show me against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Give everybody a jaw-dropping performance on Sunday.
Backyard paradise?
That's great. It'd be a front yard and backyard. That makes everybody say on Monday on all the talking head shows, the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, what happens if he throws a pick?
Right.
Guess what? I have no problem if he throws a pick. If they win the game and he throws...
Tape.
No, if he wins the game... And does he pass for 2 touchdowns?
Mark this tape, because he still owes me a cheesesteak for an erroneous comment he made a couple weeks ago.
If he throws 2 touchdown passes and has a pick, and the Eagles win the game, and Saquon gets 80 yards, I'm totally fine with it. Who the hell cares? It's all the stat nerds that are like, well, we got to have this number, got that number. I want to see this team. They're going to have to pass to win.
Well, what if he throws for 150 yards, 0 touchdown passes, but Saquon runs for 200 and has 3 touchdown runs?
I like that you're not a stat guy, John, because you can dress up any stat you want to make it seem like this is this prolific aerial attack. But I think that the Eagles are going to stick to what's made them so successful offensively, and the passing game will be there when they need it. Players are open.
Now, the thing is, though, excuse me with this. Excuse me if I'm not going to take your word for that. The passing game's going to be there.
You didn't take my word for it against the Rams game in a comment that you made, and I proved to be right.
No,
you don't have to take my word for it.
That's Stafford didn't throw an interception.
Listen, when you speak in absolutes, John, like you tend to do.
You cannot assure me that the passing game is going to be there when we need it.
I can assure you because...
No, you can't.
I can.
How?
Because it has. There's proof. There's data there.
Was it there in the Falcon game?
Well, Jalen Hurts played in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, I got you. No, we're talking about that now. I'm not talking about 2023 February.
It was there week 1. It was there week 1 against the Green Bay Packers.
It was there. There were plays to be made in the passing game against Tampa Bay. Did he make them? Even with also-rans?
The whole team.
Even with also-rans.
The whole team didn't play to standard.
I got you.
Against Tampa Bay.
They did not.
But when you have A.J. Brown, who is a top 3 receiver, in my opinion, the passing game will always work. He should have 10 targets at minimum per game.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, look, I agree
No,
with
you
that.
don't agree with that.
Look, here's where again, you and I are not on the same page. When Jalen Hurts throws the ball 19 times, I'm sorry that A.J. Brown only got a third of those targets, which was 6. I would love to say A.J. Brown deserves 10 targets a game. He should. He's one of the best wide receivers in the league. But when he's only throwing the ball 19 times.
AJ should still have 10 of them. Absolutely, yes.
Yes. Who are you throwing it to?
Devontae Smith.
Why
AJ
no, you're
is-
giving that away. You just gave us the Devontae Smith. Okay, you have 19 pass attempts. Devontae Smith is getting how many? A.J. Brown's getting how many? And don't tell me Saquon, because they don't use Saquon.
Right.
Well, then what?
So tell me who's getting the pass.
10 and 9?
If you throw the ball 10 times, A.J. Brown should get every target. He is that good.
Okay.
Devontae could get his.
I mean, if we're going to extremes,
No, if you said no, not
That
extremes.
means Devontae just stands
If
there and
there's-
does nothing.
If there's 19 pass attempts, give A.J. 10, give Devontae 5, and give everybody else 4. I don't need to see it because, first of all, I can't count on Dallas Goedert, whether he's going to be healthy or not. So I'd rather go to the guys that I know I can count on.
AJ can break a game open on one play.
Oh, he absolutely can. Let's see the target breakdown from that game because I want to see how we feel. AJ had 6. Saquon had 4 in that game, so they did use him in the passing game that game. Dallas had 4, so there's 14 of them. And then the rest was Dotson, Paris Campbell, and Covey. They each had 1.
And when did they go? Did they go to Dotson and Covey before they went to
Yeah, they did.
I mean, seriously,
they went to Dotson
Why are you
twice.
doing that? Like, what are you doing that for?
Dotson had
you're
2
trying
targets,
To be,
yeah.
You're trying to be cute. You're trying to outthink the room. You're trying to show, look how inventive we are.
Mm-hmm.
Go to A.J. Brown. Let the man make
Well, then
plays.
that's Kellen Moore. That's not.
No, well, that's the whole.
not
Yeah, but that's
Jalen.
who the message is. We know they listen because because
Well, they listen to you, John.
because
Yeah, clearly.
Nick Sirianni is clearly used my stuff in his press
He's quoted
conferences.
you. He's
So,
quoted you.
Let's do it.
Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Kevin in Delaware. He wants to chime in on this. What's up, Kev?
Hi, Kev.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey,
Good,
Kevin.
buddy.
Man, we believe in Hurts. We just feel like we hasn't had enough opportunity to really show what he can do. But when he gets the chance, we believe he's going to do what he's got to do. I'm sitting there with my daughter. She's a diehard fan. She actually converted me from a Chiefs to an Eagles fan. So we're trying to bring that good energy.
I
We
love
like
that.
we
I
like
love
your
that.
daughter a lot.
Damn
we like
right,
you
Kevin.
too,
Thanks for the call, man.
man.
When did he make that jump? Because he could have picked a horrible time.
Yeah, that's a tough
Can you
one.
imagine if he made the jump before the dynasty?
Would you? Yeah. Would you do that? That'd
be-
be a
They're
problem.
moving on from Alex Smith for this Mahomes kid. I'm out.
Yeah,
He
I'm
made
out.
the
I'm
jump in
I'm
2021.
gonna be
The
an
Chiefs
Eagles
win the Super
fan.
Bowl.
Yeah, come on, man. Connor, what do we have on the text line before I ask our first Know the DeCecco question?
All right, sounds good. We still got some answers from earlier to get through, but remember, people can get in with their football guy Andrew questions too for the hour. Ralph from Charlotte says, in the famous words of Billy Joel, "Don't go changing to try and please me. We never would have come this far." Talking about the game plan and the potential change from a running offense to a passing offense on Sunday.
Well, I don't like Billy Joel, but I like that analogy. And that's kind of what Andrew and I had been speaking about early in the open. But John tends to think otherwise, which is
Yeah,
fine.
I think otherwise.
Well, that's the
But
beauty
you're
of
not
sports
alone in
talk
that. There's a
radio.
lot of
Hey.
folks that want to see the passing game really take shape, and because they have 4 weeks
Yes.
to get it right.
I would just say that there was the person who told you all summer long to be ready for NFC title game weekend. Now everybody's on the bus. There's not even any good seats left if you get on the bus. Listen to me on this. You're going to need to throw the ball. I want to see it. Steelers game's a perfect opportunity. Best single coverage, most single coverage in the NFL.
Yep.
This is a game that A.J. Brown,
And he's going against a rookie corner in Joey Porter Jr., by the way.
who, by the way, is going to get, he's going to be like Chunas on prom night. Little.
Grabby.
Got his hands all over the place.
Wow.
Taking a shot at my
And
guy.
he's
I
clumsy,
can't.
and he's
man.
clumsy with it.
Listen, man.
There you go.
Listen, man. Nobody said I had game in high school. All right.
There you go.
All right, so first question of Know the DeCecco for the pair of Sixers tickets. During that spirited back and forth between Andrew and John Kincade,
Oh, it's going to be more spirited coming up because he said something earlier. I wrote it down.
but Andrew has not forgotten. He said before this game, Andrew DeCecco said something and John didn't listen, and it ended up coming to fruition. What game, what team did he talk about? It wasn't that long ago.
No, it wasn't.
215-263-0975. First caller to get it right, 215-263-0975 will win our first of 2 pairs of tickets for tonight's Sixers game against the Pacers. Coming up next, we'll dive a little bit deeper into this Eagles-Steelers matchup with my fellow football guy, Andrew DeCecco. It is Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles eyeing double digits. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update's brought to you by Ace Hardware Home Services. Got a leaky pipe, having issues with your heat? At Ace Hardware Home Services, they're around the block with everything you need to fix it. They've got the pros to keep your home humming all year long. Ace Hardware Home Services. The Eagles are looking for double digits on their winning streak. They've won 9 straight. They're going for 10 against the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday. That would be a franchise record in a win streak. So we'll see if they can get that done. 4:25 p.m. at Lincoln Financial Field. And as of yesterday's injury report, all 53 active players are without an injury designation for the Birds. So a lot of good news. But Pittsburgh's still a solid team. And yesterday, Brooke Pryor of ESPN, covers the Steelers, joined our own Andrew DeCecco and talked about the impact that Russell Wilson has made in Pittsburgh.
He is very much doing what Arthur Smith is asking him to do, not pressing. He's not taking too many sacks. By and large, I mean, I think that he's just doing exactly what they're asking, and it's working out.
And that helps when you have an elite-level defense like the Steelers do, so the Birds will have to contend with both of those factors on Sunday. The Flyers took down the Red Wings 4-1 last night. Scott Lawton, all 4 goals for the Flyers. What a night for him. They'll be back on the ice tomorrow night at 2 p.m. The Sixers are back from their long break tonight at 7 p.m. against the Pacers. You can hear that game live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Andrew DeCecco stays with us for the entire 8 a.m. hour. Kevin Negandhi joins us at 9. This update's also brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. When you need a new water heater, choose one that's built to be the best. Choose Bradford White. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
is 97.5 The Fanatic. Congratulations to Julian Harris, who got the first pair of Sixers tickets for tonight's game by playing No to DeCecco. From now until the 9 o'clock hour, listen closely. There will be another question for you to answer for your chance to win a pair of tickets for tonight's Sixers-Pacers game at the Wells Fargo Center.
Julian.
Single game tickets are on sale now.
Great name.
It is a
Great
strong name.
It is
It's a strong name.
Kind of like Andrew.
Andrew is definitely a strong name.
Yeah, exactly.
Good football guy name. Really.
It's a foxhole guy name.
By the way, I
It
think Andrew's
absolutely
one of the
is.
names that is one of the big. I just saw the thing where all the new names, like the names that have now taken over and other names that are gone away.
Oh, is it trending up?
It's trending down.
Oh, okay.
Like John, Andrew, like names that are more traditional, like trending way
Listen,
down.
we want to be in the background. We don't need to be at the forefront.
Yeah,
we
but
don't
you-
need the spotlight.
You know what? They don't want to make their kids set up for failure because they have to try to be other great.
I mean, there's a
ages.
lot to live up to.
There is a lot to live
Don't
up
worry,
to.
boys. CT trending way up.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
The only other guy named CT was the guy from the real world, and yeah.
There are a lot more guys named. There are a lot more guys named Connor.
That's
I
true.
can tell you that. There's a lot more Connors.
All right, so this upcoming game. So we've been talking a lot about changing the style of offense a little bit. That's been the big talking point since everything happened on Sunday. But let's focus on Eagles-Steelers. Forget path to the playoffs. Eagles-Steelers Sunday. Still a big game because they're playing to win their division. The Eagles with a win and a Commanders loss wins the division. And, oh, by the way, they're still trying to keep up with Detroit because there is still a percentage chance of them getting the 1 seed. What are some of the things that we should keep a close eye on during this Sunday's game against the Steelers at 4:25?
Well, if you're a football guy or a football junkie, the game within the game is going to be in the trenches. I cannot wait to watch how this is going to unfold. The Pittsburgh Steelers have 2 rookie linemen in the middle of their offensive line in Mason McCormick, who there was some pre-draft interest from the Eagles. They sent their assistant offensive line coach to put him through his pro day workout, and they also have Zach Frazier. But they're going against Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Milton Williams, and that's going to be, I believe, what's going to set this game apart because Jalen Carter should be able to wreck shop against those rookie linemen. They haven't seen anything like what he's going to be able to propose. And then when you look at the Steelers' defensive line and how the Eagles' offensive line can match up with that, T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward. Cam Hayward has 19 quarterback hits this year. He's done a tremendous job at his age. Alex Highsmith's there.
That guy has not lost a step.
No, not at all.
How many years has he been in the league? At least 15?
At least.
I mean, that
13 to 15 years,
That guy's
maybe.
just a beast.
But then you have T.J. Watt. You have Keanu Benton, who is a defensive lineman from Wisconsin who plays with really good leverage. So I think he could give Cam Jurgens some issues potentially because he uses that to his advantage. So this is going to be physicality versus physicality. And I would think you would take the Eagles' offensive line given their sample size and their ability to impose their will against the opposition.
By the way, this is year 14 for Cam Hayward. So
That's
this is
amazing.
That's 13 to
one-off.
15, yeah.
I mean,
I think
he's been-
Chattahoochee High School's Cam Hayward or something like that. I remember him growing up.
He went to Peachtree Ridge.
He's a Peachtree Ridge.
And then went to Ohio State and has been with the Steelers his entire, I imagine, future Hall of Fame career.
His father was a great, great dude. Really nice man.
And then Alex Highsmith joined the lineup last week after missing the previous 3 games with an ankle injury, and he had a sack in his first game back. This is going to be a really, really big test for the Eagles' offensive line.
You made a comment earlier about remarkable. First of all, can we all agree on this? Did the Steelers have the coaching advantage on Sunday?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does that include the coordinators, though?
No. I
Head
think
coach to
Arthur
head
Smith
coach.
doesn't know what he's doing.
Arthur Smith's had a good year, though.
Yeah, he
I know
has.
he has,
He
but-
he has. He's done a nice job sort
he
of
stunk with the Falcons.
Yeah.
But you talk about remarkable. I think that Mike Tomlin, and I've argued this, and I think Mike Tomlin's a hell of an individual. I think he would have been fired long ago in Philadelphia.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
he would have. The patience from city to city is nowhere close to it.
His first 5 years, here's just a couple numbers for you. His first 5 years, he went to 2 Super Bowls. He was 5-2 in the postseason in those 2. He won 2 AFC titles, won 1 Super Bowl. Since then, in the playoffs, the 12 seasons after that, he has 3 playoff wins. He hasn't won a playoff game since before the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 17.
Right. But
He was 5-2 in the postseason. He's 3-8 since after his first 5 years. I always just say to people, yeah, it's because Pittsburgh was patient. Because he'd be fired. He would have been fired here, and it not even a question.
That's a great point, John. And I would also say, to add to that, he's excellent at talent evaluation. His draft is spot on. He's good at developing players. And he takes teams that don't have maybe as much talent year to year as maybe some of the other ones in the NFL, and he outperforms expectations. So to me, I think when you take his whole body of work into account, I think what he's been able to do is remarkable.
I would say the one big thing, because I don't know, this might be a little ahead of myself. I don't think Russell Wilson's going to win a Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You keep on winning games, you're not getting yourself in any sort of position. They had the chance with Kenny Pickett. Clearly didn't work out. They move on from Pickett. They got the Russell Wilson, Justin Fields thing.
How much was it, though, that he had his franchise quarterback and it was stable and they had a great relationship and they won a lot? And then later on in his career, when Big Ben's breaking down and everything, he doesn't win. It's just his – I wonder –
he might be a franchise quarterback away is what I'm saying.
Oh, I think there's a lot of coaches that are a franchise quarterback
but
away.
like,
You know what I mean?
Look at what he's doing, accomplishing with Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson's not the same player that we saw in Seattle.
Yeah,
I just wonder, like, can you keep this success year in and year out? I mean, you thought this would be the year that
I thought this was the year they were
500.
under 500. Well, I also thought it was the year that Buffalo was going to miss the playoffs. So let's not.
No, but still,
let's not rehash that.
Let's not bring up every prediction from this.
No, I'm just bringing up the
summer.
No, but I wasn't disagreeing with you about the Steelers.
No,
thing.
I got you.
You know what I mean? Like, I thought, all right, they'll finish right around 500, which is what they're accustomed to doing. They're 10-3 this year.
Now that I didn't see coming at all. I thought the Bengals would actually win that division.
Right.
But I think what he's been able to do, given the circumstances, going into training camp, they didn't even know who their quarterback was going to be. Was it going to be Russell Wilson or Justin Fields? Justin Fields, I think many thought would run away with that job, given the athleticism and the ceiling. But I think he's done a lot with what he's had to work with.
The ground attack for the Steelers, you can stop them. I know Najee Harris is coming close to 1,000 yards, but that's all they do.
He's not a game breaker either.
No.
877 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns. He's more of a plotter. He's somebody that I kind of like how the Eagles do, except Saquon has game-breaking ability, clearly, but they're going to continue to try and run him a little bit and hope that he's going to hit one, but he doesn't have that home run hitting ability, so you're probably only going to see a 20-yard run, and he'll get tackled down the field if he does break one, but that is their path to victory. And Pat Freiermuth, when they do get to the red zone, their tight end, because there's going to be no George Pickens this week, they are sort of devoid of pass-catching options when they don't have George Pickens available.
Yeah.
Got a good feeling that they're still going to be able to run the ball this week. After watching that Baltimore game, that they'll be able to do that. If the Eagles are having success running the ball, do you think that is going to get them throwing it more proficiently, or do you think that they will stick with what they've been doing?
I think it'll open things up where they do pass the football. Maybe not to the degree that you may want or what a lot of folks would like to see, but I think what A.J. Brown said coming off that Carolina Panthers game, and again, hate to rehash that, but it shed a spotlight on that, and I think he's kind of getting out in front of it so that they have time to really work and iron those things out, and they have 4 weeks to do so, and I think if they do set things up with the run, John, you're going to see them try to become a little bit more pass happy.
Now, let me ask you, because he has said he did it on purpose. He said it.
He has
publicly on
absolutely
purpose.
said that, yes.
So I compared this to the Trey Turner standing ovation a few years ago. It's wonderful that it worked. But my question was, if we do this and it doesn't work, what are we doing next week? Are we just going to boo him louder? Like, what are we going to do if this standing ovation that sounds beautiful doesn't work? Now, it worked. It was great. What if this plan of A.J. Brown's to put this out publicly doesn't necessarily work?
Who's getting booed?
No, I'm not saying booed.
No, but I mean, it's like there's nobody.
No. I was talking about the fan. What's the fan base reaction to the standing ovation not working?
Okay.
What's A.J. Brown's reaction or other players in the locker room's reaction to it potentially not working? I wouldn't be surprised if T.J. Watt has 4 sacks on Sunday. And,
oh, man. 4?
No, you're losing. You're losing then.
Yeah, that's a loss.
And if that's because of the passing game, not Jalen Hurts, the passing game, as A.J. Brown alluded to, is the whole thing. If it doesn't look better on Sunday, then what's the conversation? After he said, I did this on purpose to try to maybe kick it into another gear. Like, that to me is the fear of making this public.
Well, that will be the talking point coming out of that game. If they still aren't able to conjure up any semblance of a functional passing game, that's going to be the primary topic of conversation. But I tend to think that they will, because there's games week in and week out that there are players open. Now, if they're running the football and staying true to their offensive approach, their new philosophical approach, T.J. Watt shouldn't have 4 sacks because they're not going to be dropping back that much.
If he has 4 sacks, this is a loss. Guaranteed loss.
Could be. All right. If you have any questions for football guy Andrew Salciunas.
Let's make it for AD.
For Andrew DeCecco, text them in at 610-632-0975, and he will answer those questions for you coming up next. Also, don't forget, listen closely for another question for Know the DeCecco for your chance to win a pair of Sixers tickets for tonight's game against the Pacers at the Wells Fargo Center. It is a Football Friday, and don't forget, Kevin Negandhi joins us at 9 o'clock on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, a Bird's Insight.
97.5 The Fanatic. We're joined by Andrew DiCecco for the remainder of the hour, and whatever the hell that was.
I ask it every day when we play it. It's new. Sounds like somebody's had Mexican night last night. What? A little bit.
What are we doing here? Andrew, drive this.
Drive it into the ditch?
What
are you doing?
I'm still caught on this Keanu Reeves stuff.
Yeah, I mean, look, I just looked it up right now. I was right.
He tried out for the
Keanu
Ravens.
Reeves.
They offered him a tryout.
Of course they did, because
They
he was a good
offered him a
quarterback.
tryout.
I'm just supporting your point.
John was trying to say that Keanu Reeves did not play the part as a quarterback in the
No,
replacements.
I think he's
and he
wrong
100%
again,
did.
John.
I think except Matrix, I think he's a horrible actor.
Some are saying that if Keanu Reeves was the quarterback of this Eagles team, the passing offense would actually be a little bit better. I'm joking. Nobody get upset.
Wow.
Clip that. Put it out.
What do we have on the text line, Connor, for football guy Andrew DiCecco?
All right, hopefully nothing about the replacements. For
Great
football
movie.
guy Andrew here, we have a question. Says, even though on film there are guys running open, how concerned are you about Hurts not pulling the trigger? I know you say the pass game will be there when needed, but a big part of that is Hurts actually seeing it and getting the ball out.
Well, yeah, that comes with throwing with anticipation. I think that reluctance probably stems from that coming early in the season. He committed a flurry of turnovers, and I think probably coming out of the bye, he's more reluctant to put the ball in tight windows and push it down the field. But I think now he's going to have to turn it loose because A.J. Brown put a spotlight on the passing game. They know that they have a month to get it corrected before the games really start. The intensity amplifies, and I do think you're going to see Jalen Hurts try to revert back to form and really push the ball down the field.
All right. What else we got there, Connor?
So Frank from Mount Laurel has a question and then a follow-up depending on the answer here, but I think I know what your guys' answer is going to be. So what would be your number one concern about the Philadelphia Eagles right now?
The passing game.
Yeah. A.J. Brown said
Sustaining
it right.
it for 4 quarters.
All right. If we get that one out of the way, the kicking game.
Well, that's a big one in this.
Okay.
Jake Elliott's gotten away with murder this week.
He has.
I wrote a story on Jake Elliott this week.
I read that. It's great stuff.
So I try, I try to stick to the on-field stuff and sidestep some of the other, the tabloid things. Obviously, I had to address it. But Jake Elliott, his confidence hasn't wavered. And if you listen to special teams coach Mike Clay, he supported him. And Jake Elliott's been around for a while. And he's been a pillar of stability for many years. I think back to that 59-yard kick that he had in that misty rain and that miserable conditioned game against the Bills. And the fact of the matter is this is a what have you done for me lately business, and he's got to get it right because now it's a trend.
So did you buy the explanation by Sirianni that it was more windy than people made it out to be?
No.
How about
we
this?
were out there, Andrew?
I was, I know. I was just asking the football guy's opinion. And was that a message? Or not a message, was that Nick Sirianni saying, I don't trust this guy?
It was probably a tip to the hat for Braden Mann as well. Braden Mann's been punting lights out. He was the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week, of course, with the Ravens. And in a game like that, I think he probably didn't want to risk, when it was sort of teetering on the brink of, I don't want to say implosion, but going the other direction. I think he took his chances with his punter.
Yeah. One of our big listeners, John Maley, has insisted for over like a month and a half. The problems with Jake Elliott, he believes, is that he's not kicking off anymore.
Jake Elliott addressed that, and he said, I can understand that outside perception, but he has a kicking regimen throughout the game that it's not impacting his ability to stay warm or get in that kicking rhythm. Because I thought the same thing. Maybe him not doing that, you're
Froze
coming
it
in
off.
cold, but he poured cold water on that.
Okay.
Now,
Right.
I've got the follow-up from Frank and Mount Laurel because he thought that the answer was going to be the passing game. The question is, why wouldn't you want to see that addressed in the best way possible if you believe it's the biggest problem with this team?
Well, I mean, look, I think that it's going to – there are players open. If there weren't players open, then there's more cause for concern. But I think with Jalen, and he's proven that whatever shortcoming is sort of thrown his way, he's proven that he's going to work to make it not a talking point. And I think this put a big spotlight on an area of their deficiencies, and he's going to get it corrected because he knows how talented this team is, and he certainly does not want to be the reason why they don't reach their potential.
So how does Sunday play out?
It's going to be run heavy. I believe it's going to be run heavy. But I think you're going to see a lot more risky passes, less conservative play from the quarterback.
Yeah.
that to me, I think this. I don't want to say it's a wake-up call, but sometimes it puts things into perspective when you hear it now from a teammate. Now has been for at least 2 or 3 days in the earlier part of the week. That has been the primary talking point.
Yep, absolutely. All right,
Before he leaves, I want to make sure that you're here for this. We have a big happy birthday today to the boss, Scott Masto.
Oh, dude, happy birthday,
Happy
Scott.
birthday, Scott.
There you go. I'm
did
sure he's
not know
listening.
that, boss
He's
man.
always listening.
All right, well,
I
that's
didn't know
awesome.
until I just happened to see it. So.
Oh, happy birthday.
That's awesome. Happy
to the
birthday,
boss.
Scott.
We appreciate it.
He's always listening.
195 shows.
It's amazing.
You know, his children
Well, his
of
children.
Kincade and Salciunas, 195 shows.
Sometimes problem children, too.
Happy birthday, Scott. All right, Andrew, thanks as always. We
Appreciate it, guys.
We'll see you Sunday for a little late lunch or early dinner.
Either one.
All right, we'll call it either one.
Andrew, talk to you at the pregame show.
Talk to you at the pregame show.
That'll be good pregame show,
By the way,
too.
the second question for the second pair of tickets for the Sixers-Pacers game tonight. First caller on the contest line to get this question right, 215-263-0975. Who is the actor that we were talking about coming out of this last break? That looked like a football quarterback, Johnny. He looked like a quarterback.
Yeah, it really did.
Who was that actor? 215-263-0975. Kevin Negandhi joins us for to start the 9 o'clock hour coming your way next. And we will give our picks at 9:30. We've been doing pretty well, Johnny. It is Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
A chance for more history. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by Garage Beer's Ugly Sweater Contest at PJ's. Find the tackiest Philly sports-themed ugly sweater and model it at PJ's for a chance to win an autographed Saquon Barkley print and more great prizes. Tuesday, December 17th at PJ's in Cherry Hill. The Eagles have a chance for more history on Sunday as they could potentially extend their winning streak to 10 straight games. That would be the best mark in the history of the franchise. Of course, we saw Saquon Barkley go out and beat LaShawn McCoy's single-season rushing record earlier on this season, and there's more history on the table for Saquon as the season progresses, but that team mark might be the most impressive of all. They're going to have to deal with a tough Steelers team, though, Sunday, 4:25 p.m. at Lincoln Financial Field. Yesterday, Brooke Pryor, who covers the Steelers for ESPN, joined our own Andrew DeCecco and talked about the impact the quarterback Russell Wilson has been having for Pittsburgh.
He is very much doing what Arthur Smith is asking him to do, not pressing. He's not taking too many sacks. By and large, I mean, I think that he's just doing exactly what they're asking, and it's working out.
So the Eagles will have to deal with him and that great Steelers defense on Sunday, but the good news is they'll be pretty darn healthy to do it. As of yesterday's injury report, all 53 active players are without an injury designation for the Birds. That's remarkable at this point in the season. The Flyers took down the Red Wings 4-1 last night. Scott Lawton, all 4 goals. They'll be back on the ice tomorrow at 2 p.m. The Sixers back from their long break tonight at 7 against the Pacers. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. We talk to Kevin Negandhi next. I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic.
9 a.m. on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic on a football Friday. Congratulations to Raj Galati, who won our second pair of the Sixers-Pacers tickets for tonight's game. So enjoy yourself tonight while watching the Sixers with plenty of rest going into this game against Indiana, which they can win this game as long as everybody's knees are intact. And
well, as long as everybody decides to come to work.
That is true. You know
we'll
who
see
we
who
never
comes
have
to
to
work.
worry about showing up to work?
Who?
I know he's at the 6 o'clock Sports Center ready to go every
Yeah, you know what they pay him to do that show? I'd show up for work too, damn it.
on the Comcast Business Hotline. Every day in business is a big day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. From ESPN, our man Kevin Negandhi joins us. Kevin, good morning.
Good morning, fellas. How you doing?
So, Kevin,
are you waking up in Atlanta today, right?
Listen, I'm sorry. I sound like I smoked a pack of Newports. I just did. It's been a week, man. So I did the college football award show last night. It's a 2-hour show, but we were. I was in at work at 9 a.m. and now I'm working on the Heisman. I'm doing stuff with the Heisman people this weekend. I was in New York Tuesday night doing the MSG stuff, and tonight there's another Heisman show. There's another show after Sports Center. So it's been a week, and I love what I do. I'm very lucky, and it's great to talk to you guys.
you are awesome. You're killing it as always, Kevin. And, of course, we all know that one of the lead stories all over ESPN, and, of course, 6 o'clock Sports Center, was everything that happened this week with the Eagles. So I kind of want to start from the beginning and work our way to where we're at today. What did you make of A.J. Brown's comments on Sunday, Brandon Graham on Monday, and everything that seemed to be smoothed over since then?
So when I first heard it, my first reaction was, why? We've won 9 straight. The team is rolling, and then I flash back to last year. And, I've talked to a lot of people, obviously, this past week, and this has been building. The frustration has been building for some time, and I think there's multiple people involved. It's not just targeted to the frustration of, hey, it's as simple as I'm not getting the ball. I don't think it's like that. I think it's that. So the quarterback, Jalen Hurts, has done his job. The one thing we saw at the start of the season in Kellen Moore's offense, they were a little pass heavy in the beginning, and what happened? We saw turnovers, especially in that Packers game where you're in the red zone, and we were like, whoa, what are we doing? And since they changed off the bye of becoming more run dominant, Jalen has protected the football. He has. And I think the choice of, hey, not trying to force anything, protecting the football, keeping drives alive, relying on the defense has been a formula that has worked. And let's not forget that you have the best running back on the planet right now. And then you have a line that's your biggest strength. I think that they've done all the things that they're supposed to do. The concern, I think, that is building is that you win against teams that are on your schedule. Well, some of these teams are not going to be the teams they're facing in the postseason. And that's the concern, that when you're going to face a really good defensive coordinator, if you face a team like Brian Flores in the Minnesota Vikings, and Flores loves blitz and send a lot of different looks, but what are you going to do? Let's not forget what Todd Bowles has done to the Eagles. He's put them in a blender, and Jalen Hurts as well, rolling into the left side over the last 3 years. So where is this offense when the postseason comes around? Because you're going to face really good defenses, really good coordinators. I think that's the big concern right now. And then, what BG said, I love Brandon. I think everybody in the entire Philadelphia region thinks Brandon Graham's part of their family. He's that good of a dude. When he said what he said, I was like, whoa, BG. And I think BG, there's frustration because he wants to win. I think also he realized that maybe some of the things I shouldn't say because we've got to fix it in-house, and maybe they tried, because a year ago it felt like some of the leadership wasn't being listened to. And then I come to one other thing. I think it's the biggest week for Nick Sirianni this entire season, because you could be a player's coach, and Nick has done an incredible job the last month. You could be a player's coach. We all know the players love him. But if you're also the player's coach, sometimes, like a parent that wants to be friends with their kids, the kids take advantage of their parent. Eventually, though, you got to say, I'm the dad. Don't mess around with me. F around, find out. And I think Nick's got to send that message to some of these guys that, hey, we are good. I let you guys do a lot of things. We can't air that laundry out there. Keep it in-house, and we'll see how this team responds, because I think the Steelers are going to take it to them. That defense is going to sit there and wait and look for how many times A.J. Brown's going to get the ball, especially those opening drives, the first quarter, the second quarter. I just hope they don't force it. I want them to get A.J. the ball. I want them to get Devontae the ball. I also want Jalen to go and get that third look and that fourth look in the passing game. And they desperately need that, because defenses are going to pounce on that in the postseason.
That whole F around and find out thing that you gave, like as a parent and a dad, that came way too easily for you. That really, I have a feeling that's been I think that's in the holster. I think that's a go-to move sometimes.
John, that was used. That was used last week.
That's good.
Car ride.
Let's think about it. Let's think about it, though, as you say, the bigger picture is the things that you believe. Is there something that you believe about this team that's been successful in the 9-game streak that you do concern yourself with if it's not the passing game with this team having a chance to go and win in the postseason, maybe having to win 4 games to win a title?
The one thing that has really blown me away about this team that has given me some assurance, and I think Nick has coached that way over the last 5 weeks, is that he believes in the defense. And guys, let's all remember the nightmare situation, what happened the second half of the season. And a lot of that was because there was no belief that the defense could stop a nosebleed, right? So the concern I have more than anything else with this team is their safeties and the health of the safeties, because we saw that exposed a little bit when you don't have Blankenship, and CJ was beaten up in that game. He came back, and so, John, to your point, I think that health is going to be a major concern on staying up, especially on the back end of that defense, to help Q and Cooper and the rookies establish and figure things out, because if you start losing safeties, you're going to be in big trouble here, especially, let's just say there's a matchup against the Vikings, a matchup against the Rams, and a matchup against the Packers, teams that like to, throw it, and they're not afraid because they have multiple wide receivers that make plays. That's the one thing that really concerns me if you want to go on a run in the postseason.
Kevin, you talk to people every single day that cover football. I'm curious, what are people saying at Bristol about Saquon Barkley and his chances to win MVP?
Well, it's interesting because, each and every week the narrative completely changes. And when Josh Allen scores, records 6 total touchdowns on the road in L.A., that's pretty damn good. So things have quieted down on the Saquon front. They could just come right back up against the Steelers defense that's pretty damn good. So I think it's a week-to-week thing. I think that, to be honest with you, Tunis, like after what A.J. Brown said and what BG said, Saquon went, it went back in the file and in the folder, and then they just closed the door, and they're like, let's talk about this. And I do want to say this because I got a lot of feedback on some social media sites about, you're tearing the team apart. Man, I want to tell everybody this. ESPN did nothing. ESPN responded to things that were said, and none of these media outlets, you guys are included, everybody included, we're not trying to figure out and get a story.
The players said it. The players said it.
Right.
And
we dealt with this all week.
Storyline.
Yeah, we dealt with it all week. People in the beginning of the week.
It's unbelievable.
It's the media that created this. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. You guys are part of this. How are we part of it? We're just reporting what we just heard out of their mouth. So I get a kick out of how narratives completely change, and suddenly all of us are the enemy when we've done nothing. We're just reporting what was said.
It's amazing, isn't it? All right, Kevin, listen, man, you rest up as much as you can. We
Great
appreciate
job
you
last
taking
night
the time.
too, by the way.
And keep on killing it. We're so proud of you for everything that you're doing all over ESPN. Keep up the great work, man.
I appreciate it. I think everybody's going to get sick of me on the network, but you'll see a lot of me from 6 to 8 tonight. All right? Be good, fellas.
We'll be watching. There he is, Kevin Negandhi on the Comcast Business Hotline from ESPN. Yeah, this is his
really
this is
busy
his
time.
sprint because he is so involved with college football, and we've reached college football playoff time, all the season awards, and by the way, he still handles his 6 o'clock Sports Center duties.
Yes.
So it's a busy time for Kevin Negandhi. We appreciate him taking the time coming on with us today. I did want to bring up the quarterback power rankings with him, but look, he sounded like he was struggling, so I didn't want to really get into it. But I still find it amazing.
Doesn't want his voice to go out either.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. And look, doing this job,
You've done it.
I made that mistake before.
I remember those broadcasts. I was cursing you out. Listen.
Yeah. I made sure my dad, when I took him to the Eagles game last weekend, he's like, "How come you're not making so much noise?" I was like, "I can't. I've learned from that mistake."
Oh, I would have killed you.
I'll let the fellow 70,000 Eagles fans make the noise against the Panthers. By the way, there was not much to cheer for in that game anyway.
Really wasn't.
It really wasn't. All right, what do we have on the text line, Connor? Our topics today, if you're just tuning in, our first question today is whether or not you wanted to see the Eagles drop back to pass more on Sunday. Now, I have said no because I want them to stick with what I believe has been working, and I understand your points, John and Connor, about you think you're going to have to throw the ball in order to win big picture stuff in the playoffs. I get it. But if I think that their strength is elite. Like, let's face it, the ground game is an elite strength for this Eagles team.
All right.
Like, this isn't like a middle-of-the-pack rushing defense and their passing offense is toward the bottom, so we have to try to throw better. This is the number one rushing offense in the NFL. And it's so good that nobody has stopped them. And until they stop them, I'm going to keep on going. I am, and I get your concerns. Well, what if it happens during the playoff time? Well, okay.
You want to be trying stuff, though? Okay, do you we'll test stuff out before, I don't know, something around the house, some appliance or something that you need in an emergency. Do you want to not have make sure the sump pump works. Make sure the things no, we'll just wait till we have the big storm and see if it works. I think it's a crazy mentality to just say, it's going to be good. I was shocked because I trust Andrew DeCecco's, his Eagles IQ as much as anybody's. I'm shocked that he goes, I know the passing game will be there when they need it to be. I don't believe that. I believe you've got to practice things. You have to show that you can do something. I can't just have that blind faith that they're going to make it work. Just can't.
I understand.
I want to see a little bit more.
And then there was an NFL.com quarterback power index. They've been doing this every single week throughout the season. And I looked back earlier in the show when we were talking about Jalen Hurts started the year at number 10, which I don't think is outrageous. We had him at 8.
We had him at 8
to start the season.
That's not outrageous.
They had him at 10, so not crazy. He was in the top 10. I looked at it today for the first time all season. He's at 18.
It's just dumb. It's absolutely dumb. It really is.
Now, here are the dumb ones.
That's poor work.
Bryce Young, Kyler Murray, Geno Smith, Brock Purdy. Those four.
Like, Brock Purdy is not.
Those four should not be ahead of Jalen Hurts.
Okay, so already you've gotten to
So he's now in the top 15.
There's others, though. There's others.
Right, like Jordan Love.
Jordan Love has not had a better year than Jalen Hurts.
Should not be ahead of Jalen Hurts.
It's ridiculous.
Russ is hard because he didn't play until
Russ
week
is not
5.
ahead of Jalen Hurts. He's not. I mean, he can't be. He can't be. When you just played, I only played this, you got to look at these guys. If it's about what you're doing, it's got to be that. It can't just be this week he was better.
Right.
It's got to be based on something.
The Geno Smith once again.
Geno Smith that's so stupid.
So you know how people give Jalen Hurts crap for only having 16 touchdown passes this year, and they don't give him the credit for the 13 rushing touchdowns. I understand that a lot of them are tush pushes.
Right.
But in total, 29 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 8 fumbles. I don't know how many are lost. I don't think he's lost 8 fumbles.
I don't think he's lost them.
But if we're just sticking with that, 13, let's say, potential turnovers, Geno Smith has 14 touchdown passes, 2 rushing touchdowns. That's 16 total. 12 picks and 7 fumbles. So that means
he's a liability.
So that means he has more potential turnovers than touchdowns.
It's so dumb. It's not. Honestly, it's ridiculous.
It really is ridiculous. All right, what do we have on the text line, Connor? And then after this text, we have to give a shout out to one of our great listeners. You told me about his health problems that were going on before the show today. What's going on, Connor?
Colby in Central PA checks in and says, yeah, it's time to see what the passing game could do for the Eagles. With all the controversy, we know what's going to happen this week. I also want Barkley for 100+, and I think it all can be done. This game has potential to be the Eagles' best game of the season if they focus on passing the way I think they're going to.
I think it could be. Look,
could be.
If you go out and beat the Steelers in a decisive victory, it's your best win of the season. That's it. It's best win of the year. I like that.
I'd still take the
smart,
Ravens.
I like smart listeners. Well, because of the road game?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Ravens are also, what, a 5-loss team?
They are.
I can't. I can't give them the nod over that. I would give it that the Steelers game would be the big
But I will say this, the way that I understand wins and losses, but the fact that this is why I always bring up the Bengals game too. The fact that they kept them to as little points scored. I know
Correct.
the Steelers offense has been putting up some points in the last couple of games, but I still don't look at them as a prolific offense.
They're not.
Right, so that's why I kind of agree with Connor with the Ravens.
That is a team that is, if we talk about teams, they're right there, right with the Bills.
Oh, yeah, they're 10-3. Yeah, you're right. You're 10-3. Tell the people about our man John Kruk.
Our man John Kruk is
not John,
on Twitter.
Not John
Kruk. If you do not follow on Twitter, he's very, very good, and he is recovering from a heart attack.
Yes,
and so we wish him all the best. He listens in often. Hopefully, he is not listening this morning and he's resting.
That'd be nice.
Following doctor's orders, but
maybe we put him to sleep. Who knows?
We wanted to wish you a speedy recovery.
Yeah,
and hopefully things are looking really good because we need somebody to be worrying about this Phillies offseason, which has been, let's just say, uneventful,
lackluster,
boring,
but
terrible.
You know what? Good for John Kruk. He wasn't feeling great, so he said, "I'm going to go get checked out."
He needed,
and then he found out he had the heart attack.
He'd already had it. But
good for him for going. I should go get checked out.
I'm pretty stupid because I did not know that could happen.
Yeah, it can happen.
See, my brain feels empty. I didn't know, honestly. I'm not kidding you. I did not know that you could have a heart attack and not know you had a heart attack. Like, I always think of heart attack as being much more dramatic.
I don't know. Like, listen, I found out, I went to the doctor on Wednesday, and I've had an ear infection for like 6 months.
Yeah, I remember you.
And I just didn't do anything about it. So it happens. You should go to the doctor, people.
You should go to the doctor.
PSA.
That's one thing that I will admit I'm not good at.
You aren't.
That's the only thing you're going to... All right.
No, you are not good at it.
I said one of the things, Connor.
Okay.
Come on now.
You're not good at it.
I'm not good at it. I should be better at it. So get checked.
Tell you what we're good at, though.
What's that?
Picks.
There we go.
I see you're trying to step on my territory here with the teases.
We are good.
Joint tease. Dual tease. Share the teases.
We're not doing joints today.
Well.
That was yesterday's talk.
Oh, that will be
different.
That will be tonight. Oh, don't you worry.
That'll be different.
All right, let me tell you about the deal of the week real quick before we get to our pick segment coming up next. Check out the deal of the week. This is an amazing one right before the holiday season. You can get 2 adult extended day lift tickets to the Bear Creek Mountain Resort for just $80. It's located in Macungie, PA. Bear Creek Mountain Resort is the ultimate destination for skiing and snowboarding, featuring breathtaking views and thrilling trails for all skill levels. So if you have anybody that likes to do those kind of winter sports, skiing, snowboarding, and Bear Creek's a great place. This is a great deal right before the holidays. Again, we're 12 days away from Christmas. Get this exclusive offer while supplies last at 975thefanatic.com/deals. Oh, my God, just realized we're 12 days away from Christmas. I'm not done yet. I got work to do.
I haven't started.
Yeah.
Are you too? Are you kidding me? You have not even started?
Well, I decorated a lot.
I got 12 days.
You decorated a lot?
Yeah, a long time ago.
How long does decorating take?
Listen, man.
My gosh.
So do we start singing the 12 Days of Christmas?
No. 12 Days of Christmas I thought is after Christmas.
Oh, is that what it is?
I thought so. I think it would lead you to the Epiphany
of Christmas.
It leads you to the Epiphany, which is the end of Christmas.
Okay. All right, good point. Thank you, Johnny. This is why we keep you around.
That's nice. I'm glad to hear why.
Coming up next.
Some days I wonder.
Next, we give our pick segment. We also keep you around for that.
That's good.
Despite you being in dead last with your 34-22 record, man. Yeah. It's unbelievable. Pick segment coming your way next. It's Kincade Salciunas on a Football Friday, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
A great injury report for the Birds. I'm Connor Thomas. This update is brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. When you need a new water heater, choose one that's built to be the best. Choose Bradford White. The Eagles got a great injury report yesterday after practice. All 53 active players on the roster are without an injury designation, getting ready for their matchup with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That game Sunday, 4:25 p.m. at Lincoln Financial Field. And the Eagles are going to need to be healthy for this one. Pittsburgh is a pretty tall task for them. Now, the Eagles are on a 9-game win streak, and at 11-2, they're one of the premier NFL teams. But Pittsburgh's been on a roll themselves, and Russell Wilson has been a big part of that in a resurgent year. Yesterday, Brooke Pryor, who covers the team for ESPN, joined our own Andrew DiCecco to talk about Russ's impact.
He is very much doing what Arthur Smith is asking him to do, not pressing. He's not taking too many sacks. By and large, I mean, I think that he's just doing exactly what they're asking, and it's working out.
And you know their defense is strong as well, as it always is in Pittsburgh. So we'll see if the Eagles can make it a record 10 straight victories on Sunday. We'll also see if they can figure out that passing attack. The Flyers took down the Red Wings 4-1 last night. Scott Lawton, 4 goals, all of them for the Flyers in the win last night. They'll be back on the ice tomorrow at 2 p.m. The Sixers are back from their long break tonight. 7 p.m. tip-off at the Wells Fargo Center against the Indiana Pacers. That game you can hear live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Fanatic. We're going to give our picks momentarily, but do you know the name Bruce Levine? Covers baseball in the Chicago network.
Absolutely.
He is reporting that the Cubs are circling in on a deal that would send, it looks like, a couple of prospects to the Astros for Kyle Tucker.
Oh, no.
So that would be another name off the list for the Philadelphia Phillies. He did say if completed, it would leave Yankees without left-handed bat, enter Bellinger to slot in for Juan Soto. So the Cubs and Yanks both in on Tucker, also talking to each other. So it looks like what he's basically saying is if the Cubs get Tucker, the Yankees would go after Bellinger, who is another name that would be off.
So you feeling it? Are you feeling it, boys? This roll it back, feeling
Run
good
it back,
about it,
baby.
I sent you the odds yesterday. The early odds are out for the NL East.
Yes,
the gambling odds, and they picked the Mets to win it. I do not see that at all.
I'm not surprised by them to do that with the Soto sweeps.
They don't have the pitching.
No,
they don't have pitching. I don't. Not over 162.
Right.
They do not. I don't see that. But the Mets best odds, Braves next best, then the Phillies.
I would still put Braves at number 1.
I would put the Braves at number 1, Phillies at number 2, Mets at number 3.
Yeah,
that'd be mine.
But they might be running it back. I feel bad.
If this team's running it back,
I saw a video the other day. Somebody posted how Instagram has all these edits. Somebody was like, "Oh my God, check out this Brandon Marsh edit." I don't need to see him anymore. I know that's Connor's boy. Ray's boy.
You know what you got.
Yeah,
you're not winning. You're not winning.
They're not going to get better, and that's what kind of
get better. Get better. You need to get better, or you can keep bluffing yourself that. Swinging like you're a top golf's going to win your World Series.
For crying out loud. We're literally bringing everybody back.
Oh, my gosh.
Stubbs is going to be in AAA.
Probably.
By the way, I was told that is not a foregone conclusion.
I'll tell you right now. He's going to be in AAA.
Not a foregone conclusion.
Oh, man. There's your hot stove minute here on Kincade Salciunas. The stove that's not lit, that's not connected.
By the way,
to
hot
anything.
stove is like an old man radio term that I've ever heard.
Cold stove, as Ray shivers in the studio over there. All right, we have been doing pretty well at this, so let's hope it continues. Let's get some picks. Connor, music, please. So, what did you guys do? I know I went 4-0. So
we both went 3-1.
Okay, so I have the tee box to start.
You are.
I just wanted to make that
Andrew
clear.
36-20, Connor 35-21, a game back. Me 2 games back, 34-22.
Now, some would say that being in the lead, you might want to play safe. No!
You're being aggressive?
I got to keep on being aggressive, man. It's been working this year.
Okay, let's be aggressive. Let's hear it.
So how about for the first time, I forget the exact amount of games.
Uh-huh.
But the Carolina Panthers are favorites in a football game.
First time in exactly 2 years.
2 years? Is that what it is?
Yes.
The Carolina Panthers are playing better football. We saw it last week, and they're playing against the horrible Dallas Cowboys. I will take the Carolina Panthers for the first time in 2 years as a favorite to cover the 2.5 point spread. 2.5 for the Carolina Panthers. I like the Bengals, who are 4.5 point favorites against the Tennessee Titans. I know the Bengals have not been great. I know their defense is Swiss cheese. I don't know where the offense comes for Tennessee. If you look at the Tennessee Titans scores the last couple of weeks, they've been actually pretty close.
What's really strange, though? Will Levis has gotten better as a passer.
He wasn't last week when they lost 10-6 to the Jags.
I just saw where he's had, though, the best throwing downfield. He's gotten much better. Much better.
Much better.
We'll see where it goes.
I'm not going to believe it.
Nope.
I like the Bengals in this one to cover the 4.5. And then I'm going to get a game and a prop within the same game.
All right.
I will take the Bills at plus 2.5 in this game. That Lions defense is banged up. Josh Allen is playing out of his mind. It's also in a dome, so Josh Allen does not have to play while playing through a blizzard like we have seen in recent weeks for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
Do I smell a Josh Allen prop?
No. But there is a receiver that he can throw to. Khalil Shakir. His over-under is only 55.5. Again, they will be in a dome. I do believe that they will have to throw the football in order to win this game because the Lions do put up a lot of points. What did we say earlier today? 31.5 points per game they're averaging this
interesting.
year.
The Bills are going to have to throw against the Lions? Huh.
Well, that's their only strength.
Huh.
Okay.
All right.
They don't have Saquon Barkley. They have James Cook.
Just an interesting thought.
Their strength is throwing the football, just like how the Eagles' strength is running the football. I'm going to play with my strength here. If I'm the Buffalo Bills, Khalil Shakir over 55.5 yards receiving. So Bills plus 2.5, Panthers minus 2.5, Bengals minus 4.5, Khalil Shakir over 55.5 yards receiving. Hey, Connor.
All right. Wow.
You
Why'd
got to
you
throw
say
the
it like
ball.
that? I can make noises too. I'm going to take the Chiefs -4 on the road in Cleveland.
What is that cheat? What is that?
Kansas City -4 at the Cleveland Browns.
That's a weird line to me.
Very weird.
And guess what? I'm still trusting Patrick Mahomes. I think they have one of those good wins in them still. And Jameis Winston is literally praying to the Lord above to deliver him from pick sixes. I can't not take that line.
It's funny. I was looking at the under in that game.
Yeah.
Because the Chiefs are not putting up many points. Their defense is very good. And what is a very good defense against Jameis Winston?
It's going to be windy, apparently.
Opportunistic.
So we'll see.
Yeah, take a look at the under in that game.
If they beat the Browns, the Ravens, and the Steelers in a terrible year, that's wild.
Yeah.
Hey, they're the Chiefs, man. I don't put anything past them.
No, I'm talking about if Cleveland.
Oh,
I'm saying,
Cleveland.
if they go,
Yeah.
I said Browns. I made a mistake. If they beat the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Steelers, that's a wild year.
Yeah,
that's Jameis, baby. I'm also going to take the Cincinnati Bengals -4.5 at Tennessee. That game is, I feel great about that one. The Titans stink. The Bengals at least can put up points. I have a sentence that I'm going to read to you guys here for the reason why I'm taking this next game. So I'm going to take Washington. I'm going to take them to cover the 7.5 on the road in New Orleans.
I do not like that at all.
Listen to this sentence. Darren Rizzi has named Jake Haener the starting quarterback for this week's game against the Commanders. Just those two names alone,
That's bad,
I have to take this line. I don't my gut is telling me just on the numbers.
Stay
not a
away
great
from
line,
it.
But Washington's covering that.
It's a weird game.
And then my prop that I like, I'm going to the Ravens game, and I'm taking Derrick Henry over 102.5 rushing yards against the New York Giants. That feels low to me. And they're going to be running the ball all day because that Giants team stinks.
Yeah, my only concern for your bet there is that they're just up big.
I don't need
That's
concern
what
for
I
my
wonder.
bet. It's a winner.
They're going to kill it.
All right, Johnny?
All right, Johnny Props is on the game. A.J. Brown leads it off. Over 74.5 receiving yards. Simple.
Wow, we're doing the over A.J. parlay, right?
Well, we're going to do.
We all
no,
have
we can
to
do
be.
that, but I'm taking that as one of mine. That's easy, and I thought both of you would be on with me there. I'll go to the Washington game too. Brian Robinson over 70.5 rushing yards. I will take Josh Jacobs under 76.5 rushing yards going up against Seattle. They are very tough against the run. And Will Levis, which is funny you said that, over 212.5 passing yards.
Well, against that Bengals defense, I do like that.
Hang on. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. If you're betting Will Levis over, I'm sorry.
No, what I'm doing is I'm betting against the Bengals pass defense.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Well,
fair.
A.J. Brown over 74.5 receiving. Brian Robinson over 70.5 rushing. Josh Jacobs under the 76.5 rushing. Will Levis over 212.5 passing.
By the way, Connor, he's not betting on the Titans to score touchdowns. It's just for Will Levis to complete complete passes. What is the number?
Which one's that?
The
Will Levis? 212.5.
212.5 over the last 5 games. That would have hit only twice.
Yep. It's a different game. They're playing a really bad pass defense.
Oh, yeah, the Bengals pass.
And I've gone up against, I've picked a couple winners doing that.
Yeah, you have.
There we go, boys.
And then, of course, A.J. Brown, everything over, right?
All right, what do we do? No. Let's make a real A.J. Brown just to do this. Real one quickly. You go A.J. Brown over, and even if you wanted to slide it up a little, I would feel good anything under like 85.
Sure.
So you can slide it. If you can slide it, you can do that. Number of receptions for A.J. Brown.
I think it's 5.5, right?
5.5.
I would take over.
I would take over also. Okay, we got that. Anytime touchdown?
I'm always worried, but yeah. Come on,
Just
man.
to make it spicy?
Yeah, you have to.
Or zesty? Right? Haley didn't know the zesty trend?
Neither did I.
That's zesty.
I missed that.
Okay, we got that. Anything else?
Well, there was I don't know if Parks has it. I'm sure they do, but FanDuel has the 20-plus or 30-plus reception.
Oh.
Anytime 20 or 30-plus reception.
I think we do have that.
And you can add that into the SGP. And I like that because that's if they utilize a slant route. One slant route could be 20 yards for A.J. Brown.
Could be.
So I like that.
That's not a bad one.
I gave you one the other day. Over under for A.J. Brown first quarter receiving yards was 15.5.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Opening drive, they're looking his way.
They're going to try to get something done. Now, the first quarter, too, as far as the whole, they've won more coin flips, by the way. This is one thing in the Eagles' favor. They've won more coin flips than anyone in the NFL. And they defer every time.
Yes, they do defer every time.
So
They love
maybe that contributes to their lack of scoring.
They love the defer.
There you
I
go.
wonder how many times it's actually worked out this year, like in terms of the perfect scenario,
Well,
score at the end of the first half.
That's not worked a ton.
It worked earlier this
But
year.
it's not
I remember
worked.
Bill celebrating it.
Well, it's pretty crazy.
By the way, Sixers 6.5-point favorites tonight.
Ooh.
Okay,
that's salsa.
That's
Are we
a
back,
Sixers.
boys?
That's a
Scream
Sixers line.
dude. Yeah, if they're 6.5-point favorites, despite everything that's going on,
That's a Sixers line.
that screams Sixers, man. Oh god.
Oh gosh.
Are we back? No, they got to win some more basketball games first. By the way,
No, that's what they put out on social media the other day.
they did
We're
say
so
that
back.
They did say that they were back.
Yeah.
All right, coming up next, it is the Kincade Salciunas Key 3, and then we hand things off to the Mike Missanelli Show, which begins at 10 right here, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Bill Colarulo. When you have
Ray Dunn, who we were just hanging out with during the commercial break.
It's nice to see Ray.
It is always nice to see Ray. All right, so coming up, we will give our predictions on Sunday's game for the Eagles and how this game plays out. But first, it is time now for the Kincade Salciunas Key 3, which is the 3 best minutes from today's show. Presented by Von C. Brewing.
Now, the Kincade Salciunas Key 3. Today's best.
Our question to start the show today. Again, we're turning everything that took place this week. I know people are probably tired of hearing about the drama. We're now going to turn it into a football conversation.
Okay.
Do you want to see the Eagles change the game plan to appease the concerns of the passing offense? I'm not even saying appease A.J. Brown. I'm saying A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, everybody that does agree with A.J. Brown that the passing offense needs to improve or look better. Now, for that to happen, you're going to probably have to attempt throwing the ball more than 19 times. It's going to have to be 25 to 30. And, of course, eyeballs will have to be on A.J. Brown to keep him happy. But then when does Devontae Smith feel a certain type of way where you're trying to keep him happy as well? And nobody thinks Devontae Smith is a problem, but maybe he does say things more so behind closed doors instead of in front of a camera like A.J. Brown did on Sunday. Or do you want them to stick with what has worked, which has led to a 9-game winning streak, which has been the run-first offense, run-heavy offense. Saquon Barkley's getting his 25 to 30 touches. Jalen Hurts is running the ball 5 to 10 times. Kenneth Gainwell is coming in to give Saquon Barkley a breather, getting 5 to 10 carries a game. That's what's been a part of the formula that has led to a 9-game winning streak that has put them in first place of the NFC East, second place in the NFC, and one of the best records in football. So do you want them to appease the passing offense by changing a game plan, changing a style of attack for this Sunday, or do you want them to stick with what works? You know how I feel. I want them to keep doing what's been working.
Players want to do what they're good at. A.J. Brown wants to do what he's good at.
Yeah, catching the football.
And the offensive linemen want to do what they're best at. They're the best run-blocking offensive line, and this franchise has had the best run-blocking offensive line for quite a while now. Long time. Over a decade.
Right, yeah.
So these guys want to do, inherently, want to do. When I say selfishly, it means selfishly sort of, it's not tongue-in-cheek, but it's the idea that people want to do what they're good at, what they think that they're best at, where they maximize their talents. So A.J. Brown is just doing the same thing. He just did it publicly. And for the Eagles to win a Super Bowl, A.J. Brown has to be given an opportunity to do as much that he's good at as these offensive line are, and to have all the snaps in a game. And for A.J. Brown to have 4 opportunities, again, is freaking malpractice.
Yes, I agree with you.
It's absolutely,
I agree with you.
And it's not the first time, and it's not even the second time. We've had 4 targets, 6 targets. It's ridiculous, and it's got to change.
Well, again, it's 6 targets on 20 passes.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. You have to get it. A.J. Brown, get him the ball. Puka Nacua against the Eagles.
Yeah.
He had 17 targets.
They just kept giving him the ball.
What the hell? And you know what he was doing? He was catching. That's what you got to do, dude.
So,
you got to give A.J. Brown his due. Yes. How do I say yes to say it so it's like I'm screaming?
Bleep yes?
Yes.
Curse. Do it.
But your premise is false. I do not want them to do it to appease anyone. I want them to do it so they can win a Super Bowl.
Okay.
That's why I want them to do it. Because unlike you, I truly believe that the passing attack is inadequate. So to me, I say absolutely. I want them to change the offense up a little. I'm not talking about an overhaul. I want to tweak. I said by the end of my career, I want to broadcast from a parade. I've done freaking everything in my life. I've never broadcast from a parade.
Oh, wow.
I want to broadcast from a parade. And it's not going to get there with the game plan that has gotten you to 9-0.
See, now I believe that it does.
I don't think, one, where I disconnect with your premise. I don't believe it's to appease anybody. I believe it's to win a damn Super Bowl. It's to come with an offensive attack that actually shows a little bit of more balance, that shows a little bit more of a threat. And to me, that's what I want. When the Eagles beat the Steelers, yes, and Detroit, if they were to lose to Buffalo Monday morning, can you imagine what we're going to be sitting at going, wow, 3 games to go. You're right there for the number 1 seed. You just need Detroit to lose once and you to win once. That's pretty damn good.
That would be pretty damn good. All right, that was the Kincade Salciunas Key 3 best minutes from today's show, presented by Von C. Brewing Company in Norristown. Check out their Key 3, the OG Pills legendary Philly Lager, which is a gold medal winner at the 2023 World Beer Cup for the best American Pilsner. That recipe's been in the family since 1860s.
How do they keep it? On an index card? Like written on paper?
Yeah. And then eventually they upgrade to like a little laminate. And then,
Good,
and
because
now
someone
it's
can steal it.
online
If they put it
somewhere.
online, someone can steal it.
Walking on Clouds, which is the Von C's flagship hazy IPA, which is delicious. And
We love that
Johnny,
one. And then the Vienna Lager, the two-time Best of Pennsylvania winner, made with all of those German ingredients. You can go to Von C Brewing Company in beautiful Norristown.
check them out, VonCBrewing.com.
There are now Philly Sports Trips is running a trip to Norristown next year.
Yeah.
For those who haven't
Man,
gone.
Vince Rizzuto,
They'll be there.
All right, so I told you I have the Bills covering the 2.5 when we did our pick segment. So there's a chance they could win that football game against the Lions.
Yeah, 2.5. You'd be telling me there's a real good chance.
And if that happens and the Eagles were to win.
Oh, my gosh. Monday morning is, as the kids used to say, off the chain.
Yeah, not anymore.
They don't say that anymore. I've been reminded by my
So we go around the room. Do the Eagles win this football game?
27-17 Eagles.
Connor?
26-20 Eagles.
Wow. I do have the Eagles winning this game. I have them winning 23, I'll say, to 17.
Okay. So we're all saying Eagles win, Eagles cover.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to destroy the Steelers' defense. I
do not either.
Which is why I have the point total lower for the Eagles at 23. I think Russ is going to be okay. I don't think he's going to light the world on fire. I think he'll be okay. He's a veteran, smart, high IQ quarterback.
Their passing attack is not good.
But they don't have. They're not going to have Pickens, and
Right.
the Eagles rushing. Honestly, I might drop them down. I'll say I'm going to say they get 13, one touchdown, two field goals.
It's going to be great.
What are they going to do? I don't know what they do with other than Freiermuth.
If the Lions were to lose Monday morning, we are just
ready to go.
This city is just wild. With 3 weeks to go, then everything's on the table, and it looks like you got to play the last week of the year.
Yeah,
most likely. So
and look, if it's for the 1 seed, I'm for it, man.
And if the Commodes lose to the Saints, we could already have the division title.
That's right. That's right.
That's crazy.
All right, Mike Missanelli show is coming your way next.
I want to thank people to support life-saving cancer research. Join Ron Davis and the Davis CPA Group and be a contributor to the AACR. 975thefanatic.com/AACR. I'm living proof 3 times over. Cancer research saves lives.
Johnny, have a great weekend.
You too. And
Connor.
I'll be listening to the pregame show as I go down.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
I would say have a great weekend, Connor, but I'll see you on Sunday.
I'll see you Sunday, buddy.
I don't have to really do that. Be gone, Haley. Great work as always. Everybody have a great weekend. Mike Missanelli show comes your way next right here.